In this video, I'm going to see how long I can survive in Rimworld Odyssey, starting with a single colonist on a Gravship alone. Start from low planetary orbit with just a few resources for our vessel, hunted day and night by mechanoids controlled by a remote hive mind. It all comes to this: scavenge, recruit, and upgrade our ship until we're capable of eradicating the mechanoid AI mind once and for all. I have a few goals for this playthrough. 1. Survive. Obtain all the basic needs to keep my starting colonist, Kepler, safe and taken care of, all while avoiding or fighting off any enemies that pursue us. 2. Recruit a full crew to expand our capabilities and improve our starting Gravship, armed to take on any encounter. And 3. Once we've gathered enough supplies and arms, strike directly at the core of the mechanoid hive mind to destroy the threat, once and for all. So our embarkment begins. Alright, we've just spawned into the world as our single starting colonist. Currently we're floating on a ship docked over the planet we're inhabiting. For exposition, we just spawned in here on this floating platform and accidentally activated a mechanoid relay, which has kicked off a series of events that is now going to lead to a mechanoid threat arriving in only 11 hours. We really don't have much time, and we have to gather all of these supplies up. There'll be more time to explain later. It's time to get going. We've got a lot of supplies here to load onto our Gravship, and I don't honestly have very much of a Gravship to begin with. While we're doing all this, let's take a look at our starting protagonist. It's Ilarion Kepler. He's 26 years old, an abandoned child and colonist. We do have the traits of great memory, super immune, and tough to start. And we're gonna need them. We're nomads on the run in outer space. We have some passions in shooting and mining, as well as lesser passions in construction, crafting, medical, and intellectual. Just some stats to get our playthrough started off a little bit faster. Anyway, time's a-wasting. Right now we're hauling in these Gravlight panels. These will be useful for building up our ship later on. We've got 225 in our supply and around 200 left, so we could use as many of these things as we can get our hands on. Let's just give him a little bit of time. 7, 6... A little bit more steel there. Maybe if we keep this door open, that'll make us just go a little bit faster. Now, currently, we are also sitting in the vacuum of space. That's no problem for Kepler because he has on a vac suit right now. That's his gear. And that will protect him from the vacuum for a little while longer, but eventually he will have to resupply with oxygen when we get back down to Earth. Only 2 hours left to go. I think we have one last haul to bring in. Alright, less than an hour before they come. I do not want to stick around to see these things. And we are going to launch. This is our first Gravship transport. We have only 2 thrusters and very little piloting experience, so that kind of keeps our quality down, so something might go wrong, that is to say, but, well, whatever. We don't really have too many options. Here we are floating in outer space. You can see all of the asteroids and other space stations nearby, but we can't reach any of those, so we're going to have to go back down to the planet. So our journey begins in exile, starting from planetary orbit, defying the laws of physics, all to return to the lowly terrestrial life. But maybe one getting back in touch with our very roots, what it means to be human, and start from dirt. And I think we'll probably settle on one of these chem plants. This one looks pretty good. Unfortunately, it's near polluted tiles, but, well, we don't really have too many options right now, do we? Right, with that, we embark on our first launch. And away we go. And we're just going across the atmosphere and landing right around our chemfuel lab location. We still have incoming mechanoids, but it'll be maybe 15 or 20 days before they arrive and can pinpoint our new location. Landed. A sense of desolation. We have only the axis from which it falls to our lot to lever the beginnings of an expedition. That Archimedean declaration. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I'll move the world. Oh, we also had an overheated Gravship engine, so that's no good. Alright, first things first, we've landed, let's refuel our engines, and then we're going to need some colonist beds. We're going to be staying here for a while. And it looks like we do have the wood we need to construct some furniture. Let's build a shelf for storage right here, and then we'll put a bed down here. Alright, 18 hours in the day, and we are just ready before nightfall. Looks like we landed here a little bit late. Probably the next thing we want to do is take off this vac suit. We just won't be needing this, and we don't want to wear it out because we might need it later on for more space travel. So let's just take these clothes off and get into land clothing. Now the temperature down here is 101 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very hot. Inside the ship, it's still 27 Fahrenheit, so I guess we could kind of moderate that out by opening and closing the door a bit, but he should be okay between these two temperatures somehow, though it is beginning to heat up inside. Food, we're already full from maybe a meal we had in outer space. Sleep, we'll have to get some tonight. Recreation and everything else is kind of lesser needs, and we'll worry about that tomorrow. But what we've got below us is this big chem fuel, so we're going to be exploring this in a bit. And we are mostly full on fuel. We've got 250 out of 250 in here, and 240 out of 250 in here, so we're just about at the top, but we're going to need more for our travel, so we're going to be exploring this maybe in the daylight when morning comes. So it begins, the first day, survived. Relief, our first cycle having been completed. The first day, of many to be sure, but maybe the highs and lows of triumph and disaster will smooth out to something more predictable. A series of points, a line of behaviors to begin planning and conjecturing what the future may hold in store. Alright, one night gone by and we are pretty much well rested. We are waking up here. It's 10 hours in the day. Alright, morning has arrived and I've looked at the first few rooms in this chem fuel dump. Mostly they're empty, but we've still got a few more here left with the fog of war. So let's just take a peek inside. And we've got some chem fuel canisters in here. So let's just open these up and we'll order Kepler to take a look at what's inside. And we got 22 chem fuel in there, 24 in there. Alright, so this is actually a decent haul. This will probably give us one good lift, as well as all of these biofuel refineries that maybe we could pick them up and do something with them later. Let's just see what else we've got around here. A few corpses, so there might still be some ancient defenses lying around. No, just mining charges here. More corpses, though. It looks like there was a struggle. And more chem fuel canisters. Alright, this may actually take us for a few jumps if we don't manage to really get our industries going right away. So let's gather all this up. Here we go. Just putting away some chem fuel right here. We've got 119, and that's a decent haul. Now we are equipped with a machine pistol here. It looks like they've just gone flying off. I was trying to hunt some crows to see if we get a little bit of target practice in, because right now Kepler has pretty much no way of defending himself. He is passionate in shooting, but he has no skill in it yet, so fighting low-stakes fights against small wildlife is probably going to be our best bet. And just from gathering resources lying around here, it's already become obvious we're going to need more space in our ship. The fuel canisters and even just the grav engine itself and the pilot console take up so much space, I can hardly even fit anything else in here. So we're just going to take some of these grav light panels and start distributing them around to create more ship hull. Now this is going to give us the floor, the basis on which we can build everything else. You can kind of see the slight underside of it right here, and we are going to get to work on that. And that pretty much just looks like flooring. Now this will all be picked up and move as the grav ship takes off. Anything not connected or outside of the ship's radius is going to get left behind, so we got to make sure we have a coherent hull for our ship. It needs to make sense. There we go. We can see that all of this is now just connected and blue and ready to go. Kepler has high hopes for your new grav ship and wants to christen it with a good name. What should your grav ship be called? The Imposing Misery. I think, with a Greek name like Ilarion, we need a similarly Greek name for our ship. Well, it is Rimworld Odyssey, and we have to name it after the most famous of Greek warriors, Odysseus, wily tactician. All right, so the voyage of the Odysseus begins. A grand unveiling, the Odysseus, wily tactician. But before he received that moniker, let's not forget his lesser-known claims. Man of many wanderings, sometimes sputtering, lost at sea. Our quest, one that hinges on uncertainty to be sure, but wherever there is inhabited by tension lay its thrifty companion, opportunity. It's not much to start, but hey, it's something. Oh, we've just finished up on part of our hull, and in classic Rimworld fashion, we've got a mad hare on the loose as our first event. Oh, and it looks like we actually just took it out right away. What great luck for you, Kepler. And he reached shooting level 1 amazing with his machine pistol. Now, the machine pistol is a pretty terrible, low-quality weapon, but because it fires so rapidly, he's going to gain shooting experience so much faster because he gains XP per shot. So with something high firing rate and very inaccurate like this, we're actually getting more experience much faster. Alright, and just after a little bit more work, we have now completed the basic outline of our ship hull. We'll need to extend the walls still, but hey, at least these floors will travel with us as we go. Can we just get an overall look at it? Yeah, so it's kind of beginning to resemble wings. Not really, it's still just sort of a blob, but hey, it's a beginning. Right, we've just been keeping up with our basic needs here using our packaged survival meals, which we started with quite a few of these. 49 we're now at. And we've also built this wooden horseshoes bin just for a little bit of recreational variety. We should start harvesting some of these berry bushes, but I just want to get our storage situation underway, so I've constructed these, or ordered the construction of these steel gravship hull walls. And if we just get to work on these should start to form nice diagonals like we've got here. Yeah, look at that, that's really cool. And a couple botched here, but looks like we are just about done, so that's what one side's gonna look like, and maybe we'll get a little separate room for storage or something over here. Alright, we've got a solo raider from the Poison Packers, and man, look at that guy's Liberty Spikes and his club. He looks pretty fearsome, you gotta admit. we have some visitors moving on, but basically nothing, so we're just going to harvest maybe some trees right here around. We don't have too many in this grassland area, but just to build a spike trap, just because I don't want to rely entirely on my shooting here. So let's just get some resources and get going, because the sky means business. Alright, I've just constructed a spike trap in front of myself as the raider approaches, and here we go with Kepler. Let's see if we can get a couple of pot shots at this guy, because it is a very intense 1v1 matchup right here. One hit. Alright, maybe we'll get one more opportunity. Let's move back a bit, just somewhere a little bit safer. And have we damaged him? What is his health? Oh, he's decided to steal what he can and leave. The fool. He attempted to steal the core, and he has been thwarted after a short chase. Okay. He also had some medicine, a club, and some smoke leaf joints. I don't really have any opportunity to take you prisoner. He was a pirate male, age 53. Oh, it's a good thing we didn't actually have to fight this guy. He was melee level 11. Oh, he was also nimble, I just realized. Okay, so that was why he didn't fall into my trap. That is fortunate. This is actually a really good colonist for a first raid, but he nearly got my core. Hang on a second. Let's take him down completely. I don't want this man getting up and causing more trouble. Sorry. Hate to see you go. Well, not really. I am victorious, and we will just reinstall our core, and the first thing this man goes for is the smoke leaf joints. Amazing. I already like our protagonist a lot, and the core is back in place. That would have been a horrible thing to lose. We would have completely failed the playthrough without our ship core. Although we'll need to keep on the lookout for that from raiders in the future. What else will they steal? All right, I've decided to keep everything in one large room for the maximum space. We're just going to keep it all together because we need more fuel storage space because, well, we have a lot of chem fuel from scavenging this entire chem fuel dump, as well as a table and chair just to slightly raise the quality of life here. We do have the infamous 8 without table debuff, which is minor, but hey, it'll be nice to get something going. And all complete. Alright, and the next construction project is going to be to construct 2 more thrusters. This will slightly raise the range of the ship as well as improve the quality of our launches so that hopefully fewer things will go wrong each time we pick up our ship and pack up and move on. So it's a little bit of work to construct these steel and components, but honestly we have a lot of this stuff lying around here. This is an industrial map, so it's nice to start somewhere where, well, we have a lot more, well, industrial components, even if we don't have all the trees and like natural resources that we usually have to start in Rimworld. And with just a little bit more work, those 4 thrusters are now all completed. I guess the next thing is to mine out some of this uranium. This is such a rare resource, and we have a lot of it right here. It'll be nice to take all of these rich mineral deposits and just pack them up and go away somewhere safer in a couple of days. And we've gotten underway with the uranium mining. Now, these are pretty chunky squares. These nodes are 4,000 HP each for uranium. But when we get to the end of it, that is a very valuable resource we'll be getting. Now, Kepler does have passion. He doesn't have much skill for mining, but it's one of his 2 high passion areas, and these are nice skills because you can really grind mining. There's so much work to be done, and let's see how much uranium. 34 uranium out of 1, so all that work for just 34 uranium. Mining level 4. Now, after our next jump, we're going to start creating our own fuel, or we're going to need to, because we just won't have enough chem fuel. I figured, why not take one of these biofuel refineries all pre-made here in this little factory area and bring them back to our ship. So we're just going to position one of these in here. Now, we're really cramming everything that we can into this ship, because each tile of Gravship actually costs more fuel to launch. So I'm trying to get as much as I can into as little space as possible. Got another Rimworld threat early game of another mad hare here. I think we can take this one out just on our own, so this should be just a little bit of target practice for us. What did we get it there? Let's just move back a bit. Maybe we can just... Oh no, it is still really quick. Okay, it's gonna have to come to blows with this hare. Never mind. Alright, another shot, and it's down. Nothing particularly terrible, just a couple of little wounds, but they did break the skin, so let's see if we can get some medicine on that. Alright, fine, use good medicine. I just want these things fixed up right away. And we're all healed up, and we finally got our first quest, Saving Jot, 19 days active. A prisoner being held by poison packers has managed to steal a radio and call you. Jot is being held at a camp near Gravship landing site under armed guard. And he's located just a little ways south of our camp, which is actually within range of our thrusters right now. We could just land right here and try to save this man. Now, we don't know too much about him, but we could find out. I mean, it's only one enemy to fight. Well, the quality of our Gravship launch is just raised slightly. Still, something might go wrong, but hey, it's better than it was last time. Time for takeoff. We are leaving this land behind. And we make our way south, And we have an enemy encampment here with one turret on the northwest side. Let's land right here by his prison cell so we can just give ourselves a little tactical advantage. Here we go. We just have one raider to fight off, and we have delivered ourselves a tactical advantage. This man will never know what hit him. A spaceship comes flying out of the sky, and he has a Gladius. Let's see if we can just install a spike trap here, and then... Yes, that's right. I'm just going to hide behind the spike trap, and he has somehow survived. Okay, I need to run to the other side, but he can't be long for this world. Let me open this door and run out. This guy looks pretty messed up from that. What has he got? Oh, we really messed him up with that spike trap. All right, let's just stand at the doorway. It looks like he's going to set fire to my possessions, I guess. All right, well... Oh, that's terrible. He set fire to the fuel. We have to take this man out fast, otherwise my ship will burn horribly. Please, Kepler, no, you have to hit. Please. Oh, for God's sake, Kepler. This is what you've been training for. All right, I've taken him down. Let's just put out those fires. Fortunately, it was raining here when we landed, so even if this spreads, we could always just de-roof and get it ended that way. But it looks like this won't blow up my ship today. All right, there is Jot, our prisoner. Let's just attack this door and try to take him. And the marble door is down, and Jot can be freed. And amazing, he instantly joins our faction. What is he like? Will we have to banish him? He is a barkeep, age 60. All right, he has level 12 double passion social skill, 4 art with double burning passion, and 5 double burning passion plants. That's really good. He is a slowpoke, which is not that great, but he's also a quick sleeper and a night owl. Okay, so he can cover the night shift for our people. Incapable of dumb labor is not my favorite thing, but hey, at least he's good with plants. He can perform some necessary task for our colony once we get some planting going. Amazing. Jot seems like a pretty good name. Jot. Welcome, Jot. Hoo-ha! And we've still just got one hostile turret here, but we could possibly repurpose some of these solar panels and maybe a battery or something. The first real victory, or at least the first time there was something meaningful to be gained from Triumph. A test of confidence and a boon for what lay ahead. We've proven our mettle once, still the journey's only begun. Alright, we've moved over to the solar panel and we've got Jot acquainted with our colony and cleaned up a little bit here. Now we've got this biofuel refinery which requires power, so we've linked this to our solar panel over here, but we unfortunately don't have any batteries right now, so this is connected, but it will have to wait until the morning to get any charging. In the meantime, we've got some of this meat around here, which we can hopefully reuse to create some biofuel, or chem fuel, excuse me, because we don't have really much other source of chem fuel, and I'm not about to grow crops here because we are currently in the middle of the desert, and it is just an infertile, barren wasteland. On top of that, it looks like Jot also has a psychite dependency, so we are probably going to appropriate some of this yayo because he will need that in order to survive, as well as we have to do something about this turret right here because it is still hostile and we can't really disarm this thing. And after taking a little bit of damage trying to work on this thing, I've managed to construct a wall around the turret, so it's still active, but we can't really get to it. But yeah, the next thing is to bring over maybe one of these batteries and repurpose that also for our room, and then go from there. This is nice. Despite the fact that Jot doesn't do low-skill labor, he is okay with turning meat into chem fuel, so we're taking all of this rat meat that we have discovered nearby and duck meat, and we've got him a little bed here as well. Oh, we haven't brought over a battery, but I guess we'll bring over the battery in a moment, just because why waste a perfectly good battery over there? And we've just installed our battery into our ship, as well as gotten a little bit more shelving. It's going to be pretty crowded in here. We just don't have that much room to do, well, anything with, and there's still a lot of items we've got to take from place to place. So I figure, let's just have all of the storage in our bedroom, and it looks terrible, but it is useful still, somehow. On top of that, I managed to score a free flak jacket and gas mask off a hostile raider right here, and I've started to install some ship lights here. Now, I figured that this will be useful because walking around at night, the darkness makes them slower, but hey, if we keep moving this ship around as our base, we should be able to move a little bit faster if we're walking within range of these. So we'll get some power lines going here. These are just not connected to power. But is this one ready? Well, as soon as we get these up, it should have a nice set of front and back lights, and that's going to look really nice at night, the way it lights up. Look at that already. It's so beautiful. Along with that, I figured why not get a little more shooting practice with our auto pistols and machine pistols. They're all rapid firing, so we're getting a lot of experience with this. Well, really the machine pistol is best, but auto pistol, still pretty good rate of fire. And hey, we're missing, but at least we're building up some shooting experience here. Look at us go with even a single passion on Jot. That's great. Man, look at it. It's just so barren and empty in the desert. Amazing. Great place to practice. And for the next order of business, I've assigned Kepler to start researching. Now, he has a single passion in intellectual here, so he's just reached intellectual 5. And the goal here is to get packaged survival meals. I don't want to depend on refrigeration systems yet, because that seems like too much to build up on my ship for right now. So I figure, hey, while we have all this access to all these hunter-gatherer resources, why not try to make some packaged survival meals? So once we get that going, these things don't spoil, so they have infinite shelf life, and they could just be used forever. So that's great for our traveling, and we still got 22 left, but I want to build that up to a bigger buffer. And this rat meat, after all, isn't going to eat itself. Alright, a little more time has passed. Jot is researching now. Not really much passion, yeah, none in intellectual, but hey, it's better than nothing, and he doesn't do dumb labor anyway. So we are building up our electric stove right out here so that we can work with our preserved power, as well as we've got all our lights up and running, so that's got that nice glow in the night. As well as we're a little bit of the way through to packaged survival meals, so it shouldn't be too long here before we are making our very own transportable meals. Alright, a little more time has passed, and I have just decided to expand our number of chem fuel tanks. We may not need this right now, but hey, it's an investment for the future. As well as I've started to carve out a small kitchen area. Now, it is a little bit dirty, but we'll just have to ignore that. Actually, we should probably take care of that, but whatever. We're already most of the way through here, so whatever. Kepler is creating our first packaged survival meals. Or were those just regular ones? Or did I assign him? Okay, so we've got some simple meals, but also some packaged survival meals we'll be getting to. Hopefully we'll use more of the animal products toward that. Just gotta manage my resources here. And it is time to hunt an emu. It got a little too close, and we did get hurt here, which is too bad, but the emu, which was pretty deadly, is down now. So let's, wait a minute, don't fire with your friend nearby. Whoops, I just did that, oh well. Actually, we could just melee attack this thing to death. Anyway, we are running out of food and starving, and if you look down below, we have a mechanoid threat incoming in only 1 quadrum. So we've got about 1, well, in-game month, or quarter, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, the mechanoids, we have a decent amount of time, so that's a good warning period before we have to leave. But, you know, time's a wasting, and honestly, the desert, life doesn't get easier here. There's very little fertility. We do have a little bit down below here, but that's not that much soil. We've got to get out of here someplace where it is more rich and lush for eating food. The animals here are too large, deadly, or low on meat. I mean, these elephants do look delicious, but they are dangerous to hunt, so obviously that isn't the answer we're looking for. We have to go somewhere else. In the meantime, I've also just slightly extended out our ship, so now it seems to kind of resemble a manta ray with these wings and even a tail segment where our kitchen is. I think that the design is brilliant and perfect. And now only 12 days before the mechanoids come. We still have a decent time buffer, but I really think we should get out of here just due to food concerns. We can't survive much longer here. We will have still not that great a flight, but hey, it is getting better based on all the ship improvements we've made. Let's get going. Where is Jot? Get aboard the ship. We are getting out of here now, man. Again, with confidence, we leave the first desert behind. A biome hostile to most life, a worthy challenge, but maybe a potential site for return if we could eventually shape the environment to our own designs someday. And I think we will fly to this coastal region. This looks really lush. It's a grassland with a river flowing through it and at the edge by an ocean. So let's go over here and see what we can make of it. Goodbye, desert. It was nice meeting Jot here, but there was unfortunately not enough food to survive long term. And now we get to check out one of the incredible new grassland biomes. Wow, look at it. With all the waterfront space, this is certain to be more lush than before. Unfortunately, we have received the negative moodlet of grav nausea from the trip, so are we going to be throwing up? Oh yeah, for the next 2 hours, expect vomit. Let's just speed through. Will we get any vomit? Oh, I was hoping for maybe a little bit more bodily fluids, but maybe not. And although the grassland is beautiful and fertile, we've unfortunately got an unabated fire that grew up right here. This is just a flash fire that happened to us. Look, it's even set fire to these steel walls. Incredible. This will continue basically until it meets a body of water, so I've tried to just keep it from getting around our ship, but look at this. It's just spreading uncontrollably. It is beautiful to watch, though, isn't it? And as work continues, we're being raided, unfortunately, here by Lenka, which is just one fur person who was a prisoner with a club. Very dangerous, but fortunately we have the tactical advantage right here. We do have the river between us and this fearsome fur person, so let's see if we are able to fend them off with our new and improved shooting skill from all of that fighting emus over the last few days. Let's just see. Oh, he's making his way a little bit further south, so then we too will... Oh no, he's north again, never mind. Let us shoot him in the face before he crosses the river, the deadly fur person. We have overcome you, Lenka. You are nothing. All right, victory for the forces of the Odysseus. We are the faction, we have taken the name Nomads. So we are the Nomads of the Odysseus. Amazing. Hoo-ha! Victory for the Nomads. And amazing, we've actually got a trader to visit here. Someone has arrived to maybe exchange some goods with our faction. Now, we are a little low on food, so maybe some of these packaged survival meals, it would behoove us to trade. We have 300 silver, so that is nice. We can do a little bit of trading here. And what did I tell you? These fields are just dripping with fertility. Some ducks have decided to join us. Now, we could keep the ducks, but I think that would be too much maintenance, so I've just decided to slaughter all 8 of the ducks that have just joined us, and it is unfortunate, but they are pretty delicious looking, so yeah, I mean, amazing. On the inside here, this is a pretty quick detour, but I also just researched colored lights so that I can change the mood and scenery in here a little bit. It's a little bit flavorful of me, but I just wanted it to look better. We've had a couple of these lights come and go, just some I mean, it is pretty busy out here on the plains. Look at all the fires that have spread. I probably should have set up on the beach or the coast or somewhere with less flammability, honestly, but hey, maybe next time. It is beautiful, though. Amazing, we've had a transport pod crash. A recruiter named Shiki is crashing in a transport pod nearby. Here she is. She is, let's just pause time, age 42. Very good skills all around. The only drawback, maybe, is that she is a pyromaniac, but I think that's pretty quirky. Is she still going to live? She has 5 hours left to live, so let's not waste a moment and save this woman. Yeah, we'll just throw down a sleeping spot right about there and rescue Shiki. Hopefully stabilize her wounds. We don't really need any medicine. She just doesn't have much time. I guess I don't have any on me. All right, try it without medicine. Hopefully you can do the job. Come on, Kepler, stabilize her. He is a pretty good doctor. I mean, he wants to be a pretty good doctor, but hey, a desire to heal your wounds is better than no desire. All right, cool. We have stabilized her, and I guess she will survive. We saved her life. All right, we have got Shiki stabilized, and she has actually decided to join us while she still recovers from her wounds, so she's doing a little bit better now. And she is a pretty decent colonist, but it is getting pretty crowded in here. Nonetheless, hoo-ha, welcome Shiki. Now you are a nomad. And we are being raided now, unfortunately, by pigmen, though it is just one man, and he is waiting a little while to attack us. Although, once again, we have the advantage of this river on the approach here, so hopefully we can get him while he's just a little bit out of range. Although, I think he will actually outrange us with his revolver. Let's see how close he gets. And he is crossing the river dangerously. Let's see. And we have hit him. Kepler, are you in range? No, we unfortunately have to just get a little bit closer. Okay, we will stand over here and... Alright, I am in range. It is safe. I'm in a flak jacket, so hopefully that will be fine. And we've hit him multiple times now. He is on the run, unfortunately has forced us into a rather awkward position here. Here we go. We have trapped him in the river in its deepest part, and he has been just torn through right here. Paul the pigman, we've shot you in the head. How are you still standing? Man, these guys are tough cookies. We have shot them in the head twice, and he's still 3 times, and you're still standing. Look at you go. All right, he's down. Well, that is a free revolver for us, so that is a 3rd ranged weapon. Amazing. We've detected a massive Gravtech energy reading indicating that the mech hive is hidden somewhere in orbit. Wow, this may be an endgame goal. This is a far-off event, but hey, it's nice to know that we may be able to eventually take down the mech hive hunting us this entire time. But we have more immediate needs right now. We still have pretty low food and heat stroke and... Oh, yeah, we have to get on that. All right, for my next research, I have decided to finish off hydroponics. So eventually we'll be able to grow indoors when we have expanded our ship enough, but that's still a little ways away because it is looking rather scuffed in here, but hey, it works. Alright, it's gonna be time to exit here soon, but before we go, I've decided it is time to maybe plant one major crop of rice in this fertile soil along the riverbanks before we exit, because well, why not take advantage of the massive fertility in the soil around here? This is the Grasslands after all, and although it doesn't have many other resources, the land itself is pretty nice over here, so I don't know why I didn't take advantage of this before. Probably just not enough people to really look at the labor situation, but hey, it's nice to have some of this going on. Just look at them go. And with that, we are all basically planted up and growing. There's something vaguely familiar, yet maybe even bittersweet, seeing the juxtaposition of paradigms almost completely alien to one another. The simple agrarian life to the cyberpunk race of spacefarers. What do we leave behind? What do we take with us? What is temporary, and what's essentially human? For now, these questions and many more will just have to lay in our wake. Alright, a few days have passed and our rice crop is ready to harvest. It looks like we're going for a swim here too with Jot, taking advantage of the new recreational variety. Amazing. And I've also got this wind turbine up and running as well as my solar panel. Now we will pack these away. We've got the buildings ready to pack up for when we go on our next stop in our just giant storage bin of an interior on the ship. I've also set out some of these panels here on the side where, if you see, I've actually built hull underneath these hydroponics basins. So they are using sunlight right now, but they are growing at a whopping 172% rate. Just ignore the HP, some of the power is flickered on and off, but eventually this will stabilize, and we've got Psychoid growing here. Psychoid mainly because I know that Jot has this Psychite dependency, and he's eventually going to need it. We've got actually this deficiency growing here, and if he gets up to around 50%, he's going to fall into a coma and then die at 100%, but that takes maybe 30 to 60 days, so we've got some time here to get this Psychite growing, so still plenty of time on the radar. And we are just about ready to launch here, except, of course, what better time to be raided by a fur person than right when we were about to leave this home. Well, he is not looking too good. Wooheesul, and he is a tough cookie. Look at him go. 4 hours until his death and demise. Oh, wow, we just barely got him before he took us all by surprise with his wooden mace. That would have been a rough fight and bad going of it, but fortunately we were able to take him out. Shooting 9 now, shooting 7 with the double passion, and shooting 2 with no passion, but, you know, I'd really rather not engage in melee unless we have better armor, so hey, we have overcome, and our Psychoid crops are growing so that Jot doesn't enter a coma in an untimely fashion. Amazing. It seemed like we were just getting to know the Grasslands, but alas, it is time to move on. We have an ancient grav core here, ancient stockpile containing a grav core, and this is a polluted tile zone, but it is coastal, so we'll get to explore a new region. So let's head over here, shall we? Goodbye, Grasslands, we hardly knew thee. Alright, and we have entered a very new environment, just touching down here for the first time. And we are just getting settled into our new home here for a little while. There seem to be several minerals around here worth mining out, so Jot and Shiki have got to mining those, as well as Kepler is now researching fishing, because there are nearby bodies of water. Now, if you look down here at the UI, we have toxfish and bluefish available for fishing. So toxfish might not be so safe, but hey, if we manage to catch any bluefish, I wouldn't fish in this toxic water, polluted over here though. We'll try to just stick to this fresh water. But we've got a few POIs here, in particular these ancient stockpile entrances, which can be hacked open to hopefully contain either grav cores or gravlite panels. Gravlite panels, which we really need right here, would be super useful. But a lot to explore, a lot more machinery and minerals for the taking, especially more so than the grassland we were just in. And we kind of have this portable power generation setup going. We've got our solar panel and our wind turbine redeployed, so we can just kind of set things up like it's an RV camper, if you will. It's kind of like setting out on the frontier, led only by our self-reliance. That and the ingenuity of the self-sustaining technology we packed with us. Each and every square we inhabit possesses an essential importance to sustaining life here. Just when we thought we were safe, some Scaria-infested iguanas have come in a crazed, manic rage to attack us. So this is no joke. It's time to fight off these deadly iguanas, ready to rip and tear us limb from limb. These iguanas are a menace upon society, and they deserve death and suffering.
I doubt that they can move as fast as we can on 2 legs. We're going to have to be chased into the toxic fallout, but whatever. This would be a far better fate than having to fight such terrifying beasts. All right, there we go. We've got a hit, and we've got this iguana. He is not long for this world. Victory for the nomads. Tonight we will feast on the flesh of lizards. And at last, I am proud to announce that our psychoid crop has been successfully grown. There are some leaves, psychoid leaves, there on the ground for the picking up of 10 of them, 16. We've got a nice harvest here. Now, we can take these once we do a little bit more research on, fishing, but then we'll get psychoid brewing done so that we can make psychite tea, because Jot right now is growingly stressed and on edge because he has a genetic psychite dependency that keeps getting worse day by day. So how long has he gone without? For now, he's at 43%, so he's gone nearly 30 days without psychite. He is an enduring guy, but, you know, he unfortunately has this genetic condition, so we're gonna make that a little bit better for him soon. Just hang in there, Jot. Now, at last, we are on to that psychoid brewing research. In the meantime, we have finished off fishing and created a zone here so that Jot can go, you know, fishing in the lake right beside him. And this doesn't really train any of his skills. Like, he doesn't seem to get better at anything. I mean, I guess it's a form of hunting, you could say. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Plants doesn't really improve. So, it's not really that great in that way in terms of grinding skills. But hey, it is animal products that we're getting, which isn't always easy to come by. So we've got fish population 326 and size 53, so a nice big zone for getting those fish out of. And you can see some of them swimming around in the water. There is one right now. Come up every now and then. All right, work continues. We've got a wanderer offering to join for the next 23 hours named Trizanu. A low-wage worker named Trizanu has arrived and wants to join the colony. His best skill is in plants at level 8. That's pretty good. Who doesn't like a guy who comes from a low-income housing environment, after all? And look at him. He is clad in a gas mask. That is potentially useful. He's also got a revolver. He's got some pretty good gear on him. And some packaged survival meals. Amazing. Oh, and he's actually quite good. Abrasive body modder industrious. I can work with that. That's decent, actually. Good mining, good plants, and good crafting. Although I think that the name Trizanu might not roll off the tongue quite so easily. Let's go with something seemingly space-themed. Outer space. Maybe Voss. That sounds futuristic and cool. So, hoo-ha, Voss. Welcome to the colony. The developments continue. Kepler has used his big, huge brain and intellectual skill to begin hacking into the ancient stockpile entrance. Now, there's 650 progress in hacking we'll have to complete here, but his hacking speed is at 100%. He's got the intellect required, but who knows what's inside this stockpile, so we'll find out in a minute. His hacking has been detected, as locked out for 15 hours. Okay, so it takes a little while. In the meantime, we are catching just about nothing except these terrible tox fish, which spoil quite quickly. But maybe we can make these into chem fuel. I don't know. We're not really catching them in very high volume, so it is what it is. But tox fish, better than nothing, I guess. Just kidding. They're not very good. They're quite terrible. It sucks. I hope it gets better. We'll bring them in anyway, though. And after some pretty good developments, things are taking a turn for the worst for now. Jot has just unfortunately fallen into a coma due to lack of psychite, and he has a really bad dependency going now. At 50%, he has fallen into this. It's been 30 days, and after 60 days, he might die. We have to administer him some psychite tea stat. Except we are so close to researching it, it'll be done in a minute. Let's just grab all of his items. In the meantime, we are getting some more Gravship substructure built. We have now all the fuel to take our entire ship, and we are kind of filling in these flap areas behind the wings of the ship. I guess it'll just turn into a large blob again, but that will somehow be helpful for planting more. So fine, that's perfectly good. In the meantime, Voss is on a mood break, and well, we got a little bit of bluefish here, so we got more packaged survival meals, and actually I had a little bit of pemmican come in from a trader a minute ago, but well, let's save this man, finish the research, and give him some psychite tea. And we are just about there to Psychite Brewing. Amazing. Now we can make some of this and wake up our friend from a coma. Let's just get that going really quick. And Kepler, do some Psychite Brewing. And cool. We have 1 cup of Psychite tea. Let's do this as a medical operation to administer Psychite tea. And this should wake up our friend from his horrible sleeping sickness. And I hope it gets better for him. Whoops, I didn't mean to feed him. Missing 1 Psychite tea. Oh, here we go. Administering Psychite tea. Amazing. Jot is no longer incapable of walking, and he has reset his Psychite dependency, so we just have to keep some Psychite around. So he is chemically dependent, but it's pretty easy to keep up with, so that's fine.
I am excited to announce that we are just completing our hacking on this ancient stockpile entrance, and oh, it's actually another door. It's not even just items there. A new adventure awaits. Okay, there is some sort of, like, secret civilization underneath here. We have uncovered some gravlite panels in this sealed crate, as well as there is another door, yet more hacking to be had. I've sent Jot down here, and yet more doors. All right, well, I mean, hey, we have gravlite panels. That's something. It looks like there was a little cave-in over there. It's kind of dark and difficult to see. And there is a hunter drone. It has not yet seen me. This is a very deadly trap. You can't stand near that. Yet another sealed crate. We're going to have to handle this at some point. Just have a little meal and then come back up to the land of the living. Some of these new sites are just so downright weird. An incredible vista of a beachside paradise. And also, ancient yet advanced technology is buried just feet below the surface. Classic Rimworld. Alright, Kepler is a pretty quick guy. We've got a little bit of toxic buildup from living in this polluted area so long. We've got a slightly different ship layout now. I have finished off the arms of the ship, or these, like, wings back areas where I have these hydroponic basins for planting. And now we have plenty of psychoid as well as a little bit of rice growing in here. Let's see if we can get Kepler down there. Kepler, you're a little bit in a bad mood. Alright, we are going to turn that frown upside down because this man is going to come face to face with a bomb in less than 5 hours. And we are just going to all go down there in a search party because a bomb is no joke. And maybe if we have all of us around, this will somehow help. Let's get, Shiki, why don't you go over to the door and lure out the bomb and maybe something nice will happen. What am I saying? Probably nothing nice will... Okay, oh, it has activated, and that really scared me quite a lot. Get out of there, Shiki. Okay, she has made it through the deadly explosion, although she was stabbed in the leg. That was actually not such a bad outcome. All right, well, let's get Kepler tending to her, and Jot, we can open up the next of the sealed crates. All right, so there's like a whole world to explore down here. This is quite nice, and more gravlite panels. We'll grab those on the way out as well. Yeah, pick up those graphite panels. And look, more sentience serum or whatever this stuff is called. I'm just gonna grab the last of the supplies down here, whatever we find. Alright, we've done pretty well for ourselves here. I'm a little bit concerned of the lack of food in this environment though, because fertility is quite bad and we don't have enough hydroponics basins to feasibly feed all of our colonists. So I think it's about time to move on. I know we haven't gotten quite everything, but hey, 263 gravlite panels. What we really need to do right now is just expand out our ship. We're covering only 256 out of our allotted 500 tiles, so that's plenty of room to expand. I think it's time to go on here, back somewhere more fertile. We just have to keep moving. Our launch quality continues to rise here. Can we just get Kepler? He's off doing something. And I think we will make our way back inland to one of these river deltas at this grassland. Here we go. Or this fork in the river, whatever you call it. Amazing. Off we go. And amazing we have landed. I actually just had to redo that because I accidentally left our solar panel and our wind turbine behind, so they are with us now. But here we are in the amazing prairie. Look at it. It's so fertile and beautiful once again. We can plant anywhere we want, so I'm going to start taking big advantage of this. We have a lot of room here, and there's lots to be done. We actually have pretty much a running colony now. We still need to depend on the area around us to farm, but hey, things are looking up for our colonists, aren't they? I've also changed out some of the backlights on our ship to this blue color. I just think it looks kind of cool for the back of the ship, and maybe I'll change around some of the light colors and play around with that a bit. I just think it gives it this cool evanescent glow.
Suddenly, love is in the air. Voss and Shiki have now become lovers. Voss wooed Shiki by describing her as an angry walnut tree. Oh my goodness. Shiki became aroused and agreed to become Voss's lover. Well, I can't honestly say that that's what I'm into, but I don't judge these types of relationships. I'm happy that they're together. This is going to be a big mood buff for our colony. Voss and Shiki. All you got to do is describe a woman as an angry walnut tree and she's yours. We now need a double sleeping bed spot. This will improve their moods, so hey, I'll take it. I mean, even if it's just a sleeping spot, we'll try to get a bed. There aren't too many trees around here, but hey, it's something. Oh, and we're also going to extend the back of our ship. I want to keep moving backwards so that we can make space for planting on our own ship so that we become completely self-sustaining. That, and I think it continues to make our ship resemble the shape of a manta ray, which is a majestic beast, of course. Again, that juxtaposition of space and cowboy frontier technology makes its reappearance. What is it about frontiers that have always summoned to the forefront of the imagination the rugged independence of the American cowboy? Yeehaw! The farmer, the cowboy, and the spacefarer, all rolled into one on a flying steel horse. Just when we thought that everything was hunky-dory, a pack of man-hunting crows has entered the region. The threat grows. These are, I just thought this would be fun to point out because these are now birds we're dealing with. So these, well, they do fly, so we want to keep an eye out for these. They might peck at us or do something sinister. We need to watch out for these vermin. Really, that's what they are, just basically rats with wings. But let's see, this is the first time I'm encountering so many flying enemies. What will they do? Let's all line up. Come on, shoot these birds. They're, oddly enough, they're traveling by foot to reach us. I mean, I guess that is kind of crow-like behavior. Crows do get around a lot on their feet. Oh, here they come flying again, but they are no match for our pistols. Here come the rest of them. Oh, it's just so cool to watch these new enemies fly. Look, they hardly even got to take off, though. Our shooting skill is improving. All right, let me just dispose of these bodies, and our ship is starting to come along here in the back section. It's nice. And I'm trying to make the most here now of awkwardly little space, but I've separated out our kitchen so that we can keep our butchering apart from our meal preparation, as well as love has now been provided for with the double bed of Voss and Shiki, so this should be a big mood buff. Although our ship interior is starting to look pretty weird, but hey, at least the exterior still has a shape I like, so I'm happy with that. Along with that, I've just made our planting room blue light, and I'm going to keep our sun lamp off for now because this is just so demanding on power. 2,900 watts. We'll wait until we really need this thing, and then hopefully when we can get more power generated, we'll start using it. But it is, as of right now, very demanding. And we had so many gravlight panels and so much more room to work with, you know, I decided to continue expanding. Now we need to keep this in a radius out from our central grav engine. So although I wanted to move our ship backward, I kind of have to move forward here. And I think I'm going to pack our fuel canisters in the front because right now they're just taking up so much room, and that'll leave more space for shelving, and then we can maybe start to get our beds into an actual order because this is just sort of bunk beds. It really does not look good, but it gets better. It gets better. And with all that, we are just finishing off the steel for the walls. I've tried to keep in a little bit of this curved shape just to give it a little bit more contour as we go, but we're just roofing that off, and amazing. All right, we are going to move our fuel canisters in there. And wow, our romantic support of the institution of love has resulted in marriage. Marriage is on. Voss told Shiki that he wants to spend his life with her. She agreed, and the two are now engaged. All as the result of calling her an angry walnut tree. Life is funny, isn't it? All right, well, this will take place at some other point in time. I guess we'll need a marriage spot, but I've just... All right, a few more days have passed, and I've reformatted our ship again, just so I can kind of visually tell where everything is. We've got our piloting area and fuel canisters, our grav core, a small area for research and butchering with our storage behind it, all kind of in one pile, but hey, that's all right. As well as taking our beds and putting them into tiny individual bedrooms. Now, these are a little bit cramped, but hey, at least it gives everyone their own space. And I just think that it looks good for a spaceship, you know, as well, we needed that one for Shiki and Voss, but I'll take it. And I've tried to make it, once again, a little bit more like a spaceship while staying in this radius by giving it some kind of wing-like shape.
shapes here on the edges, and maybe we'll start to move out some of the research or something onto the side there. Not from this angle, but if you look at it sideways, it's starting to look like a manta ray again, sort of. Well, like a manta ray mixed with a bird. Look, I did my best. Make me feel a little bit better. Leave me a compliment about the shape of the ship below. I need a lot of help. I've got some issues. We are starting to reach our limit, though, on the sheer number of gravlite tiles we can incorporate in our ship. 430 out of 500. We've got 89 left in our storage, so we've got a little bit more room left to work with here, but not too much. What is the best way to shape one's ship? In theory, it could just be a blob, but something more aerodynamic is more pleasing to the eye. A bird? Perhaps too much wing spread to remain practical. But a fish? Now we enter the realm of intelligent design. And this is a bit disconcerting. We have pigmen raiding our colony. These ones are a little bit better armed, but they're waiting outside for a while. They're up to no good. They've got knives. They've got guns. These hogs really mean business. They're about to charge. We are just lining up, guns in hand, to defend our home. All right, we've managed to get them from an angle here, and one down. Amazing. And this did not end that well. Jod is down, Shiki is down, and trailing blood, actually. Some gunshots here, death in 5 hours, but nothing actually lost, so that was pretty lucky. The raiders are fleeing on their way out, and that is good, but we have to pick up our people. Just rescue, and... oh, we've got a little bit of triage to do right here. Alright, we've taken some time and we are recovering from our grievous wounds. In the meantime, we've been suffering from these tattered apparel moodlet debuffs, so we want to take care of that, and I've constructed a tailoring bench. So we're going to be creating pants and t-shirts, and then assigning our colonists a clothing policy, so that they can wear clothing of only 51 to 100 hit points. And then we'll try to get it slightly up in quality, so we'll go poor to legendary. And that just means that they won't be wearing around tattered apparel, but we gotta make that first, so everybody's gonna get on all of the new textiles we're about to be working with. And we're finally starting to get that rice harvest, and we'll have plentiful food so that we can make chem fuel and lots of meals. In other news, my mother has crashed on the ground. Now, I didn't anticipate this. However, yes, this is Kepler's mother, with whom he has a pretty good relationship. You love to see it. A man who loves his mom. Anyway, let's go ahead and put down a sleeping spot right there, because she is not in good condition. I don't know why, but she just fell out of the sky, and we'll see if this woman joins us, but, yeah, she is not doing too particularly well right now. Alright, it looks like Kepler's going right to work stabilizing his mother's wounds, and sometimes they just pass on, but you never know. Maybe she'll stick around, and alright, it looks like, yes, I have saved my mother's life. What a heartwarming story. Oh, brings tears to my eyes every time he saved his mom. It's too bad there won't be much time for a heartwarming gathering, because mechanoid robots are coming to attack us in only 8 days and 15 hours again. Alright, we're going to need to get her healed up. Maybe we'll actually bring her aboard the ship to see if anything happens. Oh, the strangeness of Rimworld. 1 minute you're exploring the stars, then you're being attacked by a murder of crows on the ground, then suddenly, after all that, you're tending your sick mother, who dropped literally out of the sky. Ever original, and yet its events seem to always rhyme. Alright, I've got my mother resting up and healing, and everything looks good. We're also catching some fish here. You know, we don't have any tox fish in this river, it's just bass, which makes for more fine animal product, and I figure, hey, if we can get enough bass, maybe we can get more packaged survival meals to keep all these preserved. Now, we have made our kitchen itself into somewhat of a fridge also, or a freezer, actually. I don't mind working in a little bit more cold, and hey, if we can get 2 for 1 done, it just means fewer walls in the ship, and that means we're actually using more space, while they can still kind of move around here. So this isn't so bad. He's not cooking forever anyway, and he should be fine. Ooh, a little meteorite. But it's great because the bass counts as animal product, and the rice counts as plant product, so we can take both of those, make them into packaged survival meals, and then those will last pretty much forever. I've also started seeking out some alternate power sources here with this chem fuel powered generator. Now, this does generate a little bit of heat as well as the power, so we gotta keep an eye on this, but I haven't seen anything too bad from just one of these in this room. Maybe it's just slightly hotter in there. Actually, no cooler right now, but you've got the fridge in and out to kind of keep that temperature down. Also, this, we've got our doorway to our back planting room now, and this is becoming something that might start to sustain our colony, so good stuff lay ahead. And wow, Shiki and Voss are now married. I just missed the event a moment ago, but got married to Voss. That's a 40 moodlet for 30 days, so everybody's gonna be in a good mood. We
put our wedding spot right behind the piloting console between a bunch of fuel canisters. I can't think of anywhere much more romantic to make one's vows, so this was amazing. 9.8 days for attended wedding. We are in good condition for a while. Unfortunately, the robots are coming in only 5 days, so it's just about time to launch here. We're just getting finished up, and we are not planting anymore, but just getting the last of these bass. And the time has arrived once again to launch our Gravship. Now, we do have a POI over here, but I think before we arrive in that location, let's attend this lava field on the coast. And we are just flying through the sky to our next destination and landing. Wow, it's like a molten beach paradise, but also it could be deadly. Who knows what adventures lay in store for us. This region is maybe the most mineral rich of all of those that we have uncovered up to this point, or at least it has quite a lot of them. We've got silver ore here in the water. Oh, this is so beautiful, man. More compacted machinery. There's some steel to disassemble, and up here, and a few more of these nodes just lying around. There will be a lot for us to do in the way of mining up here. This is great. One note to be wary of would be the deadly lava. Deep lava right here is happening. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Maybe we'll get rained down on by molten rock. We don't know. It is not as bad as I maybe expected, but it's this sort of tropical paradise right here. But it is deadly. And amazing using our mining skill. Jot is now at 3, so he's kind of trucking along. But Shiki is doing much better at 7 with a single passion. And what about Kepler? He's just making his way over here too. All right, so lots of valuable minerals to bring back, and I guess we can get these out of the earth. Along with that, we now have this nice buffer of 46 survival meals, packaged survival meals, along with refrigeration too. So you know we've got a lot to sustain us, as well as, well, we need a little bit more power, but maybe we can get some of this planting going again. Probably the next task, which I've undertaken right here, is to just make a little bit of a growth of the hydroponics area. And now we have powered on our sun lamp because we have half a zone covered now, and I think that this is getting to be worth it for planting. So yeah, we'll get some more stuff in the ground while inside in the safety of our incredible ship. I've also redeployed our wind turbines and solar panel here, so those are just powering our battery in the back where this room is kind of useless. Now, I know that our ship still is a little bit all over the place, but I've tried to just continue visually separating things. Some storage, a little room for buildings right here when we move from place to place, workshops, and that type of thing on the side. I've powered off our electric smelter because that uses 700 watts, which is quite a lot. And then a little area for fuel up here, the grav core, as well as just a small area for dining, and I've kept this second research table open because there's not much to do here, and anything pretty useless in the back while keeping all our fridge. And honestly, right now it works, and something about it just is beginning to look right. I can't put my finger on it, but it has that je ne sais quoi. Oh, we've had some raiders come in. I wasn't recording for a second, but we've got one of them down, Paul. We fought off some of them by the solar panels here. Although one of them seems to be getting away now with, of all things, he took one of our thrusters, and we didn't really impede the movement of she. But yeah, she has been shot up and is going to die in only 2 hours. But the one thing we didn't get was her moving, so it looks like she's going to, yeah, that's hopeless. Let's just give up this chase. One thruster isn't so bad. You know, how much does it cost to build a copy of it? 4 components and 180 steel. You know, that would be worse, but I'm finding that in this nomadic playthrough, we can get a lot more done in the way of finding minerals, because we're not limited to just one map. So we actually have a lot of that stuff. So one thruster is not too bad, but I will be avenged. Excuse me, actually, I think it was 2 thrusters. 2 right here. Well, I guess I need to do better. But we still have 61 components, so no skin off my nose. Alright, we've managed to get all that stuff replaced, and now we are first getting our hydroponics harvest. This is amazing. We are now growing cotton over here, heel root here, psychoid here to make up for Jot's psychite dependency, as well as a little bit of rice down here, so we're finally starting to get a little bit of food production. Although I think that this will last us for maybe, I don't know, 10 days or so, along with what we're producing in here, so it gets better for people like us. And we are starting to extend the wings from our Gravship's core. We've got 460 out of 500 taken up. Oh, 467, now it's joined up. So that is getting to be quite a lot. This is probably going to be our last one, but I wanted to keep it looking still like a spaceship with the wings sort of manta ray-like once again, and I think it is just that. If you look at it sideways, not if you look at it straight up and down, of course. danger while out on a mining expedition. Some monitor lizards in the region have gone mad. Now, these are long boys, and we need to watch out for them because they are they're not very dangerous, but they are numerous. There are a few more coming here in the darkness of the rain. So let's go stand by our ship's light so we have a little bit of a source to shoot from and take out these demonic reptiles. Who knows what damage they could cause if we allow this to continue. Actually, we could walk up a little bit here. Actually, we'll stay in the light, I suppose. There we go. Listen to its primal yell as it shrieks out in pain, but it deserved this. You will taste our flurry of blows. All right, that wasn't so bad. Never mind. All right, a little more time has passed, and I've created a tiny shelf for our psychite tea, and I've placed that next to our tables that recreation can be done in a central location. And I'm personally extremely proud of this. I've also slightly reformatted the ship, so now we've got the research occurring over here, and I just think that this looks a whole lot better than before. Now, along with the psychite shelf, I've given them a policy for every 2 days to have psychite tea if their mood falls below 35%. Psychite is excellent. Now, my favorite part about psychite tea is it doesn't just make your colonists slow and lethargic like smoke leaf, in case if combat happens or they just need to be productive. But that's only for emergencies. Psychite tea is a pretty good and not really that harmful unless if you have a lot of it, substance. But it's not the worst thing. And alongside that, we are going to expand our recreation potential with this steel chess table here in the middle, and I think it's going to look really good just to have that nice midline filled up with things to do. And wow, also, just look at all of the materials we've gathered up here. All of this steel is coming with us wherever we go. That just feels so good to have so much new stuff coming with us.
You know, I keep talking about how nice the ship's design is and how proud I am of myself, so I think I'll just take another opportunity to congratulate myself once again. Wow. Sometimes the quality of my own ideas just amazes me. I might be one of the smartest people I know.
We've also had a transport pod crash of a mole woman, of all people, named Athified, which is a name that honestly sounds like some sort of medieval woman, like a saint or something, but I'll take it for a mole woman. This is just outlandish enough for me. Now, she has a scratch, but death in only 11 hours. She'll be okay, I think. I mean, as much as 11 hours, you know, she will be good. Anyway, let's put down a sleeping spot, and Kepler will rescue her. She should be very easily stabilized. And what is she like? So, mole people are pretty useful. Dirt mole, they enjoy the darkness, which makes them great miners. She has 8 mining, and also double passion in shooting and melee. That's fantastic. And 8 in crafting. She will do great here. Hoo-ha, Athified, welcome, amazing. And she is a fast learner and kind. That is really lucky. Just no negative traits. The mole person thing is, I don't know, maybe not, like, so completely normal. And this is incredible. Athified has actually just decided to join us whilst being carried back in the arms of Shiki, and that was very unexpected. I've not had this happen before. That is weird. But okay, I'll take it. I mean, you are a great colonist, so fine, very well. Hoo-ha, welcome, Athified. All right, we are being raided by imp people. I just have to be careful here. They've set some fires, and they are up to no good. These imps, really the danger with these guys is that they spew fire, so I just don't want us all to get burned horribly, but that is a strong possibility. Athified is injured too, so she's not doing so well. She's still got to recover, but hey, we have to deal with some imp people. All right, this really wasn't good. They managed to chase us around a bit. I had to install some wooden spike traps whilst I distracted them, which wasn't so great. You know, wood doesn't do so well against fire. Please don't let everything burn. They did destroy one wind turbine as they were taking cover by it, and overall, I regret this. It was bad. The imps have done evil unto us. But everyone is still alive. You know, Jot got shot up a bit. What did he get? Oh no, he lost his right ring finger. Oh, we'll never get it back. We have to replace the whole arm now by Rimworld logic, but alright, well, at least it's cleanly off. His manipulation will never be the same, but, you know, it takes sacrifice. We're probably going to be missing a lot of fingers by the time we get to the end of all this, after all, so your sacrifice was made for the greater good. Right, we have had a molten lava event occur, and it is raining down fire from the sky. There comes some right now. Oh my goodness, it looks very scary. Here comes more right now. Wow, it's taking out all the ruins. Who knows if this will solidify into obsidian or something. I mean, look at all that right there. Amazing. Just so tropical and, yeah, really exciting. Anyway, we are starting to pack up here. I think we've got about as much rice as I care to obtain, and 50 survival meals, and moreover, the robots are coming in only 5 days to take us once again, so it's time to get out of here. With all that, we are setting off for greener fields and pastures new, all on our way to the Grav Core at the next ancient reactor. Now, we've unfortunately had to leave behind a little piece of our ship because I actually overbuilt by 6 tiles, so goodbye, and we'll need to get those back later. From place to place, it just keeps raining true, from barren deserts to the desolation of outer space, to having lava rain down on us from the skies. The best stories are those born out of trauma. Off we go now to the Scarlands, so these will be industrial ruins. With all that, we have landed in the Scarlands here. This is a desolate wasteland with toxic fallout and what sounds like a flash storm or a thunderstorm going on outside. Yeah, a dry thunderstorm, so very dangerous. Although it is not that lush and we've got all these ruins to explore, this is a large ancient Gravcore facility, so who knows what's in store here for our adventurers. Beyond that, I want to take a moment to just point out, I really like the way this ship is coming along. It's lost a bit of its shape, but the lights, I think, just look really good here in the barren, kind of desaturated gray of our current landscape. It looks like we took a small fur person aboard as like a stowaway, Hysot. So it's fun to see that they can actually be like unintentionally taken to new zones. Well, maybe he'll carve out some new life here or just stick around as kind of a nuisance, TBD. We have continued to progress with now a high-tech research bench. This will allow us to go to future technologies. So now we're researching orbital tech. This is a really exciting development. So we are going to be creating vac suits so that we can survive in, yes, that's right, the vacuum of space, and as well as oxygen pumps and vac barriers to cut ourselves off and make our ship a habitable base while we are in orbit. Because right now we are still on Earth, and, well, if we zoom out, there are all of these celestial bodies orbiting our planet, and maybe we can visit some of these because they contain valuable resources. Traces of jade, very valuable, a couple of satellite stations and things like that. Uranium ore, plasteel compacted. Think about how rare it is to find plasteel on the planet. If we could just go to outer space or more compacted machinery, we'd have lots of valuable resources that are usually so hard to find on the planet itself. And along with that, we are just getting up our second steel research bench of the advanced kind, and here we go. We are now researching at double time. With all that, there's really not much to do here in the Scarlands, so we've sent out Voss to go hack his way into this ancient Gravcore facility. I love that animation with the glowing green hieroglyphs or whatever they are, those characters, as he hacks his way into the ancient blast door here. Let's just see, what have we got on the inside? Right, it's just a long hallway. Who knows what's at the end? We've got a few hunter drones. There's some traps here. This is going to be a bit of a job. Oh, he wants to go in and haul. Nope, don't go in there. Hang on a minute. We are going to need to arrange an expedition. A couple more doors here to hack. All right, more toxic fallout has entered the air, so this has lasted 1.5 days. We really don't want to stay in this environment too long, but we're hacking the inside doors. I guess we could just explore these, see what's in these rooms. Hopefully nothing too dangerous. Ooh, a satellite uplink. Maybe a little bit more worth exploring here. There's a little bit more to be done in this place. Let's just have another look around. Nothing really, hopefully, oh, there we go. Ancient turret system, and we have to go back and recover from that. This isn't too scary, but it's just one turret. Looks like of an old kind. And what do we have here? A sentry drone. Okay, Kepler, get out of there. This thing is armed with a shotgun. This was not safe. And he is hit. Hopefully nothing too bad. What did he get? Oh, man. All right, nothing he can't recover from. But yeah, this place is going to need a little bit of prodding to make sure it's okay. It looks like Voss is being hunted by a panther. Well, I guess when it rains, it pours. Get out of there, Voss. Come on, you've got friends nearby. We have angered the panther. Alright, we've continued exploring the facility here, and we are being chased out now by one of these hunter drones. It's fortunately not as fast as a human, so we can kind of line up some of our shooters on the outside to hopefully take this thing out while Jot lures it out. So that did cause an explosion for anyone nearby, so we're going to need multiple colonists to take these things out. In the meantime, there are also these wasps, which could, like, inject stun probes or something like that into our colonists, as well as the ancient Grav reactor, which I believe is, yeah, what contains the Grav core. So we'll hack this, as well as the uplink. We got a little bit of, data on some settlements in the asteroid, or the belt of debris outside of the planet. But anyway, there's a little bit more to explore here. It seems as though these ruins are worth coming in and out of a little bit. Like we've got another one up here. What are we going to find in this sealed crate? There's a lot of these I've found. Sometimes it's just steel, but okay, this is a super heal gene pack. All right, that's actually pretty good. I don't know if I'll use it, but hey, I could trade that for a lot of money, so it's worth something. Otherwise, most of these ruins just seem to be, well, corpses, some random crates lying around, as well as all of these ancient or even deactivated sentry bots, as well as these turrets. And that's in addition to all of the valuable technology. Now, these grav cores, I had missed one of these in the first area, but I hadn't realized quite how important these things are. These will allow us to extend our ship's building radius, as well as a few other modules if we manage to get enough of them, but I think we've got just the one right now, so hey, I mean, it's on to collecting next. Okay, we've managed to lure out enough of these wasp bots, and I think I'm going to make my way into this room. Now, there are 3 turrets in here, so this is a little bit perilous. We don't seem to have any other computer consoles around to help us hack these things, and most of those are behind, well, other bots, so I think we just have to grin and bear it here and take a little bit of turret fire. Shiki is going to go in for a melee attack on this one, and everyone else, oh gosh, he got shot in the head, but he's okay. These are pretty weak turrets. Well, everyone else is going to stand here and shoot the other one, because they do blow up if we are at too much of a distance. And then melee attacks seem to be the best way to take these things out. Look, 0 explosion, amazing. Now go for the other one. Go around the other way, Shiki. This is not safe. These things do have a blast radius. Oh, I take it back. Actually, they don't blow up. Never mind. And here goes the last of the turrets. Come on, just take it out. Don't even bother. Just stand there. It looks like they're going to take it out in a second. No. I just don't want to get shot. All right, we've done it. Phew, amazing. All right, now we can hack into this thing. Only 150 hack progress to go through. And this will just be a minute here as we plug into this reactor. All right, we have got the grav core. We've just hacked in, and we are bringing this back to our ship. And then it's time to get out of here. This place is a really barren, desolate wasteland. I had underestimated it, but we are now really low on food. We've got only 9 packaged survival meals left. Highsat has just stuck around as a stowaway, so I guess he ate some of the food, but it just felt bad to make him leave in this desolate wasteland. Maybe we'll set him off in the next area we go to, but onward. All right, with that, it's time to leave this desolate wasteland for greener fields and pastures new, and quite literally. Our next destination will be a classic Rimworld biome of the arid shrubland here. We've got a nice river crossing with a road, and after leaving all this behind, now we did have time, but I just didn't want to stay any longer than my welcome. After all that, it's a return to fertile grounds, and what a relief from the barren desert of toxic fallout. Sometimes these new biomes differ so perfectly as to create in and of themselves a kind of dramatic tension, weaving our encounters together in and out. We've now landed someplace just a lot more fertile here. We've got all of this rich soil by the river, so now we can use this for some type of planting, as well as our own hydroponics room has grown considerably since we last landed. So, you know, we can't really get any new technology here, but hey, I think with that new grav core, we could get some pretty great stuff going. Now, we are limited currently to only 500 on our ship, but we can start to increase that radius if we build another one of these things out here and accommodate for more tiles as we go. So let's get started. We need to feed ourselves after all, and we need to keep alternating back and forth, but our materials look good. So many components, 53 and 2,203 steel. Amazing. That'll be more than enough for what we're going to be developing next. It seems practically everywhere we go, we are being pursued. It is Fjorsh. Again, these fur people mean business once again, and they have brought rather primitive weaponry, but they are fearsome foes, so we need to prepare for these. Just when we were enjoying the cool, like, oasis-like conditions here, too. It's too bad. Thought we were safe for a while. All right, we managed to set up a couple of spike traps to prevent them from getting too near us, and 2 sides to what we just had was a lean-to right here. Let's see if we make it through these fights. Actually, just back up a little bit. We've got a couple of them broke through, and it looks like we maintained that north flank here, so we got to get our melee fighter over there, but we engaged them selectively, just a few at a time, and we've routed them. Amazing. Now, we really didn't have enough this time, but just with a little bit of quick thinking and some of those wood spike traps, you just have to use what's nearby here. Now, we do have some trees in this shrubland, so we just use whatever we could kind of get our hands on. You know, it's a funny mix between keeping what is permanent on the ship as well as having to be resourceful with what's around us. You gotta think fast and move, otherwise you're dead. And we have just had a massive rice harvest. Now, I've taken a couple of days here to plant along the riverbed, and along with that, we will be able to make more chem fuel, because right now the lights are starting to flicker on and off a bit, and we just need our biofuel refinery to get to work here, because we are depending more and more heavily on chem fuel power. Now, this is very labor intensive. Eventually, I want to move to better technologies, because look at this, lights all on and off, but we can power this all with natural ingredients or natural fuels that we've got, because we can't just keep moving around with, well, I guess we could with the solar generators and everything, but I don't really want to have to dedicate that much of the ship to that, and I just think this is a little more authentic to transportable fuel. You know, despite the scuffed nature of how terrible our setup is right now, it is oddly beautiful seeing, you know, the high-tech technology trying to make its push out into what is available among all of our machines, along with all of the agrarian, like, old school tech we're still having to rely on. We keep having to farm for our power, man. Gotta get beyond this. You know, it's a different way to play Rimworld, but it still feels authentically like the same game, just with this cool mobile base that's whatever's inside is permanent. Whatever you set down there will remain forever, but outside, you can experiment and try whatever you want. Overall, it just feels like a slightly different game, but still the same in the good ways. I give it 10 out of 10, Odyssey. That's my review. 10 rice harvests out of 10. And we have finally got all of our chem fuel powered generators up and running, as well as we are making a machining table. That's right, we've researched smithing, machining, and all the things that we need to start creation of vac suits. Now, once we get in here, because we have that orbital tech research, we should be able to create this build. Yes, make vac suits, so we're going to be outer space ready. As well as on top of that, we can go in here to the Odyssey menu and make these vac barriers, as well as oxygen pumps, so that when we get out into the orbit, you know, we can enclose this area, because right now, despite the fact that we have doors on all this isn't really airtight to the vacuum of space. You know, this is just a regular porous door. The walls are airtight, but we need to get this ship orbit ready so that we can venture out deep into the atmosphere, where the air is not safe to breathe. The vac suits will last for a certain amount of time, but not all clothing is perfectly vacuum ready, as well as it will last only a certain amount of time. So we need a ship that's going to work and at least for a few days can last in orbit. We are finally constructing our oxygen pumps and vac barriers. Now, these will work with our normal power systems, so once again, we'll need as much chem fuel as we can get to last us in outer space. But, well, we'll just need a few days, and we've got enough fuel stored in all of these chem fuel tanks. Now, I really kind of did too many of these. This was kind of overkill when I first started. I never realized, but hey, we've got that. We've got the vac suit helmets, and we are just about ready to take off, along with the first ones that we started with. And these vac barriers on the outside as well. Amazing, there's one right now. It's not glowing in blue yet because, well, we're not in the vacuum of space, but soon enough, we will be. And we've just had a psychic ship land with some mechanoids. Now, these weren't the ones pursuing us, but just a random event. But these are fearsome bots, and I really don't want to stay around here too long. Now, you know, in normal Rimworld, you would have to pack up your camp, but now we can just say goodbye to these people. Now, along with that, we've had a trader come along with a little bit of plasteel, which was lucky, exotic goods. Usually they're so useless, but this time, hey, we can at least use it for some of these vac suits. We've got all of our helmets ready. We still need the suits themselves, otherwise we'll suffer from vacuum burn when we get up there. But onward we go, to space. And it is with great excitement I am prepared to announce that we are just finishing off our first vac suit, the first one we've originally created and crafted. Now we have two of these things. Maybe two of us can go outside. We gotta get a heater in here as well, because, well, space is very cold, or there is just like a lack of heat, unless if you're in the direct rays of this. Anyway, we're not going to worry about that. It's just the heat we need to worry about. And we are going to be making our way out of this layer of the atmosphere up toward the ion wreckage. Maybe we'll find something like more gravlite panels up here. We are making our way off the planet for the first time once again into outer space. Up we go to the ion wreckage. Now, we have landed at the space platform, except that we're being immediately raided by pirates in vac suits. I never expected this to be right here. All right, we've taken down the pirates, and we confiscated one of their chain shotguns here, but man, that required a lot of triage. Kepler is down. He took some damage in the fight, and he is not doing too well. We have to heal this man. Jot is also not in great condition either. One gunshot. Can anyone else tend to him? Just do anything we can. Now, an ugly fight, but hey, we can just repurpose these enemies' vac suits now. We can just go out and grab them so that even if they're tainted vac suits, Shiki, Voss, and Athafide can wear these and just help us gather anything from all this wreckage. Now, this was a tough fight to begin with. I didn't think we would be raided by pirates, but, well, hopefully all of the resources out here, and this area does appear to be pretty wide open with very little defenses, will be worth it for coming up here in the first place. And man, look at the whole world below. That's so kind of eerie and yet beautiful at the same time. There's something so dangerously beautiful about the sense of vertigo I get in the pit of my stomach when looking down from so high up. It feels unreal. If you were to truly grasp the horror of how high up you were in the sky, you might not be able to function in any mental capacity. It's one of those increasingly common modern phenomena where we put our faith in engineers like the gods handing us fire. We also unfortunately got grav nausea, just to add insult to injury. Other thing I've done, I forgot to mention this, but I also installed a heater on the way out. Now, when we look at the vacuum overlay, our ship is airtight and closed because of our vac barriers on the outside, and since the hull is intact. But everywhere else in red is vacuum, that is space. And if we go out there, we will quickly succumb to lack of oxygen. It's going to start to vacuum burn, and it'll just be quite terrible. It is extremely cold out there, too. Let's just see. That is under negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That is pretty cold, and yeah, that's terrible. Inside, it is a little bit better, 63 Fahrenheit, or in our planting room, we've got 69 Fahrenheit, so very livable conditions, but yeah, that is quite scary. I guess we could make some sort of refrigeration vacuum system, but that's a little too advanced for me. We've just got the air heaters and coolers over there. So not really a great first foray, I guess, by skirmish standards, but hey, we can repurpose all of this equipment, and it only makes us stronger. Well, just to add insult to injury, we've now been struck by orbital debris, but it doesn't look like anything has crashed into our ship, so that's fine. In the meantime, I've started to get us outfitted in some of these vac suits. We need everybody able to get in and out because now we have corpses just outside of our ship, and there's a little bit of stuff to clean up in here too. Oh, no, don't go out there yet. Don't get there. You will get vacuum burns. They don't self-restrain. I guess I could give them zones for it, but we gotta get them in and out. All right, we've just about recovered. Kepler and Jod are still in bed here, but we've managed to keep the ship secure and got everybody into vac suits. Tainted or not, hey, it's something we took the raiders' vac suits by going out. Athafide, well, first off, Jod and Kepler, then everyone else brought in the vac suits, and then we could change into them in the safety of our ship's controlled atmosphere zone, I guess you would call it. Because right out here, does anyone actually have any vacuum burns? No, no one actually got any vacuum burns. A shame. Oh, wow, Athafide's actually got her right lung destroyed, I guess in one of the fights we had. Everything else is pretty much there. But yeah, vacuum burns are no joke. Now, you can survive for a few seconds. It just sort of, it's a wound, but not for very long, of course. Anyway, we're just cleaning up here, and finally, because we really don't have that much to lean on. We have only 5 meals made, although we do have plenty of food, so we'll be around for a while, just you see. And we are finally getting chem fuel made again. That's good, because we don't have anything else powering the ship right now, but we do have a power surplus still, and that's pretty important. Good, making psychite tea and meals again. We're back onto production. And cool, searching through the debris, we have managed to locate a good variety of stuff. So there's a lot of steel around here, but what are you opening up? This crate over here, let's see what's in this. A lot of components, and that mechanoid chunk yielded 15 gravlight panels. This is great, we can use this in our ship next. As well as there was an advanced component somewhere around here, I don't remember where. Oh, and also a vac suit over here too, just a perfectly good vac suit sitting out in space, and more gravlight panels, amazing. Insulting spree, all right. Well, you know, I suppose that an insulting spree in the vacuum of space is a pretty good place for that mental break to take place, because no one can hear you in the vacuum of space. And at last, I've taken that first grav core that we found, and I'm using it to construct this grav core extender. And this is going to bring out the area that we can build onto this side. I could always move this around a little bit, but hey, it's nice that we can just bring the nose of our ship up, or maybe I'll move this backwards so that we could expand the back bay over there. But yeah, options here, and these need to be built out within a certain radius of the grav core, so I guess we can build only so far out, but it sort of looks like a Venn diagram, the way they're overlapping. I guess not much yet, but it will
will if we move it. And now we have up to 750 tiles, so we can make our ship much, much bigger. All right, another one around here. This is a security terminal we can hack. So there's a little bit more interaction here. And we've got a blast door opened and another one. Okay, if there were any turrets or anything lying around, I guess we could have gotten that too. But hey, it's pretty peaceful up here on this platform other than those pirates we first came in with. There's just no one here. And, well, this is a lot of resources, spoils for the taking. And in here we managed to locate a sentience catalyst. I guess we could use this for animals nearby. I have not encountered this yet. A single dose of mechanites used to enhance neural pathways in animals, permanently increasing their trainability and reducing their wildness. So if we want a pet alligator or something, I guess we had to come all the way to space to find this artifact. Well, at least we could sell it for something. And this is not good. We've had some mechs arrive from drop pods, I guess elsewhere in space. Though they are far off on the platform here, and I think it's time to run. I'd rather not even fight these mechs. I just don't like space combat. I'm not ready for it yet, man. Why fight when we can turn to flight, of course? So that is my natural response, and away we go. And it looks like if we re-enter the atmosphere, right down here we have another prisoner camp with only 4 enemies guarding it and Rinnick, whom we haven't met yet. So let's go down here and see what's going on. Away we go, lifting up from the platform, now infested by mechanoids, but taken of all its treasures. After our encounter, at last, imagine the relief of returning to dirt, terra, someplace we can leave behind the constant anxiety of having to depend on our machines and just trust the soil beneath our feet. Alright, we have landed at the prisoner camp. It doesn't look that bad. There's only one turret, and I opted to land on the north side here so that we don't have to experience the shots from that. And we have Rinnick in here, who is potentially a fur person who would join us. Yes, that's right. What is he like? Is she? Okay, female, age 37. Shooting 9, double passion, melee 14, double passion, amazing, and plants. Wow, this is a very good colonist. Except pyromaniac and psychically... Well, psychically dull is fine. And we already have another pyromaniac, so the more the merrier, I suppose. A few incapable ofs. Well, we'll take you. And it looks like their weaponry is rather crude in here. Alright, we have engaged them on the left side here at the doorway where we had the most cover. I guess we could walk around. We managed to get one out. Alright, Jot has taken some hits, but everybody else is pretty much okay. That chain shotgun is really pulling for us, man. Alright, that was bloody. We had to take down 2 of them. Bit and Windork. More like Loser Dork. Idiot. Alright, let's see if this was worth it. I think we are pretty much equipped here to deal with this turret, and yeah, it would just be nice to clear out this area before we go any further, and it is just about down. Amazing. Alright, let's look inside. It looks like there was some sort of smoke leaf operation going on at this camp, and dye, silver, and smoke leaf. I was right. Unfortunately, Jot received an infection here. It's not too bad, and we did manage to get 52% tend quality, so his immunity is strong and growing. That's the advantage of having such a good doctor like Kepler around, or at least one so passionate. Kepler started out at 4 medical skill, and he's now at 6, so he is learning. He's got only 1 passion, but hey, that's a pretty appreciable amount of progress. We have been getting hurt a lot, as you can see by the blood everywhere. It's time that we freed Rinnick. We've got Shiki in with this breach axe and free prisoner. He should join our faction instantaneously, right? Amazing, because he was the quest reward. So he's already stressed from being malnourished. I guess he was going to have that incredible vegetarian fine meal, but whatever, he'll opt for one of these. No, you could have had that. That was fine. Well, Rinnick, okay, we'll need a bed for him as well, but free colonist. Now we're at 6. This is good. We can start to get some real work done here, because it is starting to get kind of crowded. I'm just running out of space for everything. We need to keep expanding. Alright, with all that, that was a lot of craziness, but we are all pretty much recovered. We can launch our ship again, and it takes less time between launches now because of how skilled a pilot we are. And we also have so much more crew. Look, now we're up to 39% quality on our launches. So I think we will be making our way toward this Gravcore area here, so we have to go somewhere around the edge of this, probably one of these jungle ruins, something like this. You know, our crew has grown so steadily, now with Rinnick and the others. At a certain point, you stop thinking about individuals and their quirks, what they'll do, what they won't do, what tasks they'll perform happily and what they'll bemoan. And you start to consider the systems themselves, a machine hive where the real action gets going. And amazing, we made one new friend here. We'll never forget it. Okay, to the jungle town we go, and we have got an overheated grav engine, so it means there will take a little bit more time for the ship to be ready. 7 days, but that's not too bad. You know, we can explore the ruins here, maybe mine out some materials, and the jungle is, after all, just a lush and fertile place to explore. In the meantime, we are making slow progress toward our multi-analyzer. We have most of the basic tech we need, but there is still a ways to go here. And we've also got an orbital scanner available for building now. I figured with the extra advanced component I got from a trader, as well as all of these components and steel, that's not too bad. Now we can start to look for celestial objects. We might have to mount this on our ship, but hey, it's a nice thing to have, just because we can kind of see more objects in orbit in the asteroids looming overhead that we could maybe mine later. And at last, a little bit of luck here. We've got some rather primitive-looking raiders, but we've got a trader nearby, so hopefully we can just dodge this one. I've got some gravlite panels from here. Finally, we're building up our ship again. Let's just see. Can we provoke an attack from these people and maybe make the raiders fight them instead? I'm not in the mood for a fight right now. And we have aggroed the enemy into a fight here, so they are hopefully just going to drop all of their weapons along with these traders. This is actually an amazing boon if we can face them off against each other. Alright, that took a little bit of time to recover from that. I've got everything rearranged pretty much, and I've just extended the wings of our ship. So now if you can see, I've actually moved back the Gravcore extender, so now we can bring back our planting area here. So we'll have a little bit more room to create sustainable fuel sources. And we've got, actually these wings are extended out. I may need to negotiate this back in somehow, or just move those around, or we'll just leave it behind. But we've got the uplink, and our ship is growing. Alright, and whilst we were landed here, we actually got a Scyther hub floating above the planet, so maybe this will be the location of some valuable supplies. I think we're going to visit here. We have reached the Mechanoid hub, and we are about to crack the code to gain access to its blast door for the first of our many wanderings through its labyrinthine interiors. Alright, we are, oh, this is kind of cool. We have like a hallway area. And, oh, is there anything of ancient defensive? No, I guess no ancient defenses in here. But I do hear the many whirrings and buzzings of mechanoids that lay beyond the doors. Oh, this is such a cool new POI. Look at this, man. Dude, this isn't good. We've got some tesserons in here and many mechanoid growth vats all around. I think we have to pursue this one in here, but these things are armed with tough weapons. This is a beam grazer. Any weapon that has beam in its name is a cause for caution. Let's go in on him with melee, and there's bound to be something wrong. Oh, there's more mechanoids. Oh, this is not good, man. We will do our best here, but it looks like there are more coming out. They also have their own beams. Dude, this isn't good. Encountering these tesserons, Rinnick has actually lost a finger. He got his right middle finger burned off by a beam, which is pretty easy to recover from, actually. That is a quick one to fix, but that is going to harm his manipulation permanently. We'll have to take off the whole arm and replace it with a bionic arm if we want to get him back. But in the end, we will make our ascent to robot singularity eventually, so that much is good. Oh man, oh baby, we've made it pretty much to trench warfare right in here. Shiki is in a bad position. Actually, why don't you take out this turret and get clear? We are being beamed, and it is rough. It's gonna take a little while to get out of this, but the shooting is intense. You can't really even hear it because we are fighting currently in, that's right, a vacuum as well. Looks like nobody lost anything, just a lot of bleeding wounds, so we will have to keep going back to triage here. Let's just rescue again. Shiki, rescue as well. Alright, it's taken about another day. We've encountered a Scyther room, which is a little bit of a nail-biter in fighting, but hey, with so much focused fire, have you lost anything? No, not really any pieces cut off of you, so that's fine. Alright, be careful on our way back. This Scyther hub is a scary place, though, man. Maybe go the other way, Kepler. That doesn't look so safe in there. That room is actually pretty intense. There's even a centipede in there. Alright, I've managed to open up one of these containers with the Working Infertility Procedures book or information there. We're just going to perform a quick little espionage and see if we can just hold this door open so that we can make a quick go in and out of it. See if we can grab that back. And we haven't awoken any of the mechanoids. I don't really think it's worth it to try to get anything else from these rooms. There's just a few mechanoids. Maybe one more mystery crate, but I don't think it's worth it. I mean, as it stands, what did we get? A couple more, I think it was gravlite panels somewhere in here. I had found some, as well as some of these chunks, so a little bit more in terms of valuable minerals. Not really any grav cores though, so that was a shame, but hey, I mean, we can use pretty much everything we can lay our hands on right now. So a decent trip, and maybe like a dose of humility, because that was still pretty tough, man. These are difficult bases to get through. One lost finger later, we are making our way off this platform. That was a rough go of it. Was it all worth it in the end? So many losses. There's something about losing a body part, a permanent injury that makes you question if you're employing the right strategies. Sure, maybe someday almost everything can be replaced, but at what cost? Alright, we have made our way back down to the planet, but what's this? We have a mech psych ship again, so they have followed us once again. Now, this isn't part of the mech hive following us, but it's just random mechs, so still kind of an annoyance, but here we are in the jungle, and it looks pretty fertile here again, and lots of elements to take out of what appear to be a few little rock nodes around. Our ship is starting to look just a little bit more organized again, if I do say so myself. We've got the multi-analyzer there from some of the gold we managed to scrounge up, as well as our bedrooms have gained a little bit more symmetry. I've even taken out some of the fuel tanks, since it turns out we didn't really need quite so many of those. And things are looking just a little bit better to my eye. We've also got a wanderer named Penny, cooking level 11. Let's see, what is she like? Alright, female, age 34. She has joined us. Undergrounder, great memory, incapable of violent, but that's really good cooking skill. And you know, we could take Kepler off of that job. That's just a lot of extra work for him. This would be pretty nice, and she's even got a single passion in crafting as well as medical. That could be great for a non-violent colonist. She could watch over things. I think it's time to bring her in. Amazing. Welcome, Penny. Hoo-ha! Another has joined the nomads. Alright, we've just been living at the jungle for a few days, and it is quite pleasant here. We tried to do a little bit of planting, but I think we are going to have our efforts foiled here. We've got some torrential rain. Look at these, just sheets of rain coming down, and this is going to start flooding the river. I'm just going to wait a minute here. Just look at the riverbank as it is, and in a moment, it will be just all over the place. You can already see the water coming up onto the banks and spreading. Wow, that is just wiping out so many of our crops. That's crazy. I think we're going to have to give this up. It was just a monsoon season here, man. Oh, I just really love this new water effect. I think that it looks incredible. Wow, it even makes its way 2 or 3 tiles up onto the shores. That's a little bit dangerous, honestly. I don't think that we could safely settle by the riverbanks anymore. At least not in an area like this. Look, even the rocks at the shore are now just there in the middle. Well, we're going to be leaving here in a moment. This torrential rain, I think I've had just about enough of it. Here we go, a little bit closer to our next Gravcore landing site. And just, man, look at that river on the way out. It's made its way all the way up to the trees nearby. Well, it was pretty much time to get out of there anyway. And landing somewhere new and pretty regular looking. I think we're back in a temperate forest, so this is somewhat familiar. Alright, we've had a company called Angry Interstellar of Orbital Company, an exotic goods trader. And they've given us some plasteel and advanced components, so we've got a little bit more that we need for, well, just about any of our advanced operations here with all of the new things we're smelting. I've put all the steel here in our workshop and tried to just specialize that a little bit more. So our ship, you know, we could always use more room because it's just taking so much power here to be totally self-sufficient, but I think that things are starting to look a little bit more like they're taking shape. But once again, we could definitely use more grav cores because we're getting close to our max limit here. I still want to keep extending back. I just need more gravlite plates and, well, pretty much more of everything. Another incredible development I am proud to announce, we have got our large chem fuel tank, which now holds 750 chem fuel instead of the only 250 from these. So 250 over 4, so you're looking at about 62.5 chem fuel per square. This 751 is, well, that's 9 squares, so 750 divided by 9 gives you a little over 80 chem fuel per square, so this is much more dense. Not only is it larger, but this is going to give us a lot more room for activities in our ship when we get rid of these other fuel canisters. Hoo-ha! Welcome, large chem fuel tank. And it's funny, we've gotten so much better at piloting that it's now only about 16 more hours. It seems we're staying in each location just less and less each time. Now, we've also started to get some actual military equipment here. Kepler has on one of these steel helmets we've been building, and it won't be long before we have much, much better armor, hopefully flak substitutes next. We have taken a little bit of time for machining, and we're still working on fabrication. We've got our multi-analyzer already, but after that we can get back to all of these military technologies once we have that fabrication bench going, which is really important. And we're now at 43% piloting quality. We can even launch again after only 2.8 days. This is incredible. We can go anywhere we want, whenever we want now. Practically. With that, we're going to be making our way to a cave system for our next grav core. So it's not all these ancient mech facilities, but sometimes it's a natural formation. Make our way off here again. I love how you can see the ship's imprint in the ground below. We've been snowballing in power, but with this new foe, one of organic origin, will our weapons built to tear down machines hold up and deliver us the same results as before? And this time it is a bug-infested cave system we're landing in. Now we are armed and ready. There are mega spiders and these new enemies, locusts, here flying through the air to attack us. We've got Shiki up front with melee. Let's just stand over this one. Don't let anyone else get hit by that. That's a large mega spider, very dangerous. All right, we have too much firepower though. It looks like she got a little bit hurt, but nothing too bad, hopefully. And the next area to investigate is this cave entrance, which will lead us down a floor below, where I believe we will meet the queen. Now there's so much to explore in these cave systems too. It's not just enemies, but there's also very valuable minerals over here. Yes, minerals like this compacted plasteel vein. Where else have we found plasteel before this? It's just so rare. And I think it looks really cool to be in this clearing with all the new glowing lights on our ship as well. We're like futuristic astronauts exploring an ancient bug planet. Wait, that's what we are though. Well, when we're not fighting bugs, we're doing research, and here we've got our fabrication bench ready. I've decided to just move some things around since we didn't need all those chem fuel tanks anymore. We can just put that right about here. And we'll try to make things start to look a little bit more symmetrical, but this is going to be so useful for creating new components. Not that we even had a shortage from all the areas we've been looking through anyway. And it looks like the rest of the cave entrance is pretty much clear of bugs now. Just take out the last few of these locusts remaining at the entrance. Now, they are quick, but they are pretty weak once we do hit them. Alright, that looks pretty much all taken care of. Now we can start to make our way over to the cave entrance. It just feels so much better to take on bugs, man. They're not really that strong compared to our other metal foes we've been fighting. Alright, a little more time has passed. I actually decided I wanted to make sure I had fully researched blowback operation and gas operation and weapons here. It didn't take much time, only about 1,500 worth of research, but now we have chain shotguns and heavy SMGs, which is better weaponry for what we're going to be experiencing next. All of our weapons up till this point have been relatively antique, with the exception of our chain shotgun. So now we are going to hopefully come into the future. Yes, that's right. Armed with all of our powerful new components, we have Rinnik finishing this unfinished heavy SMG, and it's going to be some work here, but in a moment we will be all equipped with better weapons. What else have we got working here? Another heavy SMG, just a lot being done right now, manufacturing before we go down into the caves. Okay, with all that, our weapons are ready. It's been a few days, and we are armed now. Kepler with his heavy SMG. Of what quality is it? I just want to check and see what we're getting. Normal, well, that one was given to us. Another normal on Jot, but that's a heavy SMG. Voss, we got good. All right, that's decent. We got good on Athifides, and excellent on Rinix, and Penny is a pacifist, and she will remain here. So inward we go to the cave entrance. It's hard to even see anything. I have to stand back in the light because there are many mega spiders approaching, and Shiki should stand in front because this could get hairy or prickly or just in general quite bad. Here they come, and we've taken out one, and don't let them approach us. Just fight our melee fighter, and they go down so quickly. These, oh wow, they didn't even get a single scratch. Right, there are some bugs, though, that just erupt out of nothing, so we need to keep an eye out for that, as well as... Look at all these grotesque insect walls. We can just shoot these down to take these out. It's their insect spinnings in their lair. It's disgusting. But this honestly has to be one of the most satisfying POI encounters I've ever played up until this point. This is sort of like the flesh walls from Anomaly, which were also quite grotesque and satisfying to shoot. But yeah, they go down one by one, and that triggers like a little space that goes down, and they keep shooting the walls. Just very satisfying to clear these out, man. All right, we are going to just make our way deeper into this cave as we go. It seems that we are kind of biting off little bits of bug to fight all at once. Look, a glow shroom forest. I'm going to just kind of wait until we hurt ourselves a little bit more and then maybe take a detour back up top, but most of this is ready to be cleared out. Okay, little triage here. We fought so many bugs, but we did get some scratches. Some of these spelipede claws, spelipede head claw, have scratched us up a bit, so nothing too bad. Acid burns a little bit, which was not too great, but nothing lost. Well, since before anyway. We're missing a few fingers, but that's about it for now. Yeah. All right, a little more extensive resting, and we've got flak armor researched. It might still just be a little while until we actually get any of this going. I've just decided
decided, it would be nice if we had this for these types of encounters, but, well, fighting bugs is a thrilling endeavor, not for the faint of heart. Here, we've got some of these are back. All right, now maybe take out the locust right there first. Would it kill you? There we go. Oh, they keep pooping out more of their own kind. We just have to get all of these nests. They keep respawning. This is an intractable foe to fight, but it is a thrilling fight indeed. And I guess it all just leads back to this final hallway here. Muffled chittering in the distance. All right, behind a nearby wall, Kepler can hear muffled pulsations accompanied by a low chittering noise. Something massive lies behind the wall. I think that this is the source of the queen. Let's get some backup in here because this is going to get very, very grotesque in a moment, I'm sure. And oh, it is awful. It is truly awful, the Hive Queen. Now, before I unpause, I have heard that you can actually domesticate this thing, although that's gross. I'm just going to fight it regularly. We've actually all been armed with firearms here. I don't know whether that was a mistake or I did that on purpose, maybe, but oh my goodness, this is terrible. It's horrible. Look at them all. And this is quite terrible. We have reached the end of the fight. The Hive Queen is down, and almost everyone is fine except Voss, and this is very unfortunate, but his right leg was cut off during the fight. So sad, but the Hive Queen actually slashed his right leg off, so that is too bad. That was our big loss of this fight. His right kidney, she also took his right kidney. Well, she deserves death. All right, let's get rid of her completely. There we go. We are just disposing of her. Kepler is hurt, but nothing too bad. Our central protagonist remains mainly unscathed from this adventure. Amazing. Hoo-ha. Now he has to rest next to the insects. Ugh. It's awful. Well, for all of that, we get, 103 Gravlite panels, and more importantly, a Grav Core, an invaluable Grav Core, and we have slain the insect menace, which these mechanoid ship chunks beg the question, was it all the doing of evil robot AI hive minds that upset the insect hive mind? We may never know, but these questions may be answered if we keep continuing with our tale. Hoo-ha. Anyway, let's get Voss and his one leg and one kidney back up. We have taken some pretty grisly wounds. Maybe not any casualties, but grisly wounds indeed. Triumph. But at what cost? There's only so much human capital you can expend before you start to break down and question the justifications. Down one leg in this instance. This, too, it falls to us to replace. Alright, it's just about time to carry everyone back up. We've got this insect jelly we can live off of down here. It's really nice. You love to eat it. And let's go back upstairs. Alright, we're bruised but not broken. We've recovered from the fight. It's taken a few days. I've got a little bit of a planting zone down here, and there are some majestic peacocks roaming around it. Maybe a sign of good fortune that lay ahead. An omen. In a good way. Anyway, we've rearranged our ship a little bit. We've just got our meeting zone over here, and I've kind of kept the storages over to these corners while keeping some bedroom entrances. We've got some recreational substances over there. And, yeah, things are going pretty swimmingly. Voss is getting by just fine with his one leg. It doesn't really affect his manufacturing of items, but his moving is now at only 37%, so eventually it would be good to get a bionic leg for him. That might be the next major task on our list, so we'll have to handle that soon. And that's going to require a lot of advanced components, but we do have them because of all the high tech we've acquired. And we've also just researched advanced fabrication, so this will help us create our own. I think the site of our next landing will be Dopamare Lake. That is a new type of POI. I don't think we've encountered a lake yet, so this should be fun. So long, insect lair. We have the Grav Core. That was about all we needed from here. And away we go to Dopamare Lake. Hoo-ha. And wow, look what a cool lake it is. We've got this nice new body of water. I gotta say, they've really improved the whole terrain generation in this DLC, and honestly, it is really cool. I like it a lot. All right, we've had a little bit of time for triage and some R&R, and we've planted down some rice here in the jungle, and it is actually a rather peaceful location. I like the kind of ebb and flow of this, where we have one intense encounter followed by just a chill, like, lakeside retreat in the next zone. It just feels like a natural story is unfolding. Anyway, we've got a bed down here now, a hospital bed, so it's sort of a random location. Hopefully we'll make a select zone for this later on, but hey, it's better than nothing. And we're also working on our first bionic leg. 313 work left, but Athified is a very good crafter. So now we will be able to replace Voss's horrible slashed leg by the Hive Queen. He's got himself into more trouble. I guess he got into a fist fight with somebody. Who was it? Shiki and Voss. I guess they got into sort of a couple
couples fight here. This is sort of a fascinating chat. Oh well, get over it, because you are in love, and you have to stay together. Alright, the final development for this area is going to be steel auto doors. We just have so many components, I hardly know what to do with them. Steel is my preferred material for auto doors because there are better materials for it, but they cause the door to open more slowly. So steel is about the maximum speed and the maximum strength, as far as I can tell. Well, as long as you're going for maximum speed. So anyway, I do like steel auto doors, and they look pretty cool and futuristic, so amazing. And here we go with the first auto doors. Let's see it in use, and yep, no slowdown. We're going to be using these on the kitchen as well, just because we want to keep the cool in, and that's important for auto doors. Alright, I've just done another ship launch. We are in a sort of inconsequential location right here, located next to a mountain. We are making our way back down southeast, because in orbit there is the site of another grav core at this mechanoid platform. So that is our destination, so I'm just moving along about as far as I can. In the meantime, I wanted to try to get this operation done while we have kind of a lull right here. And so for Voss, let's see, will we get a successful surgery? Alright, medical level 6, and I'm getting no messages, so that means it went off without a hitch. Yep, right leg, bionic leg. So after he comes out of this anesthetic, well, he's at moving 0 now, but he should come out with even faster movement speed in a moment. Of course, that is going to be complicated by the stab scar on his left leg, so the other leg isn't doing so well. Maybe we'll eventually just replace both, but hey, this was the big one that was bringing him down to only 37% movement, so this is going to be a big change. Human progress, defying all the laws of biology. In the short run, war is hell, but nothing seems to find a way through such intractable obstacles as the human will to inventiveness. And this area is just pretty boring. We've just got, well, cliffs for most of the map, so there's not much to do here anyway, so this operation was good timing. It's going to take us only 2.3 days, so not much time here, and then we can make our way to the next location. The other thing I've done is to just install some turrets here on the inside of our ship. I figured with so many components, we might as well just start this process, and it keeps us just a little bit safer inside our ship if anyone attacks the peaceful penny within. Alright, some more raiders have attacked us. These are Neanderthals. We managed to get enough that we just routed them here. I guess our firearms were good enough. I expected that to be just a little bit more climactic, I suppose. How do I even pronounce this man's name? Ratran Romea. I feel sorry that he has to explain that name to people. Oh well. Anyway, we were only about 7 hours out from our launch. And in the meantime, we have installed our second grav field extender. Down here, we have just kind of moved these apart so that we have a little bit more space to extend our wings and go backward. But I think one more of these things and we'll start to get a really nice shape to our ship, a good contour. We've got 706 out of 1,000, and our ship is starting to look more airplane-like, I suppose. I'm still trying to figure out what it's becoming, but it continues to evolve. You know, it's tricky. You need to kind of keep evolving out from a radius, so your ship continuously changes as you go throughout your run, but it is a unique base, and it invites further investigation of what is a spaceship. And we're heading out to our next destination. We've got a series of glow forests down here. Now, this is a completely different biome from anything we have been near. It is darkness all day long here, and these trees these mushroom trees don't actually like our ship's light. They are growing less because they have been, they're dying because they've been exposed to our ship's light. How sad. Well, anyway, we'll be out of here in just a few days. Anyway, in keeping with that tradition, I have decided to hunt down almost all of the local wildlife because, well, we just have nothing to do here and we could use the shooting practice, so, maybe we'll bring it in for more meat so we can create more packaged survival meals. We already have 112. This is just me doing bad things to innocent creatures. But look, we've got so much lush fauna that I'm going to wipe out. This Colossus toad, for example, will be colossally dead. There it goes. You hate to see it. Oh well, we are stronger than you. Alright, now that we've hunted down all of the local wildlife, it's time to launch off from the glow forest once and for all. And we're going to be making our way here to Witterina Basin. Alright, we've made our way south to more wintry climates here, and there is a lot of ruins, and found a couple of materials here, but not really anything that interesting. It's just kind of gray and barren here, so I think we'll just make our way out just a lot of these kind of seemingly interesting places that, well, there's not really anything going on, but, well, they do add local flavor. And this whole journey onto this arm of land out here was actually to get into outer space. I thought we'd have to get to this island first, but up here we've got possibly a site of another grav core, a mechanoid platform, so we're going to be launching back once again into outer space. And you might see those little mini turrets I've added onto the outside in case if we encounter anyone when we land. Hopefully this will keep us well defended in the vast reaches of space. Alright, we have docked on the platform here and we are hacking our way into the Scyther facility. Most of us are very well armed and we've gotten rid of most of those tainted vac suits, although with so many new crew members now we've actually had to reuse them. So we've got that as well as, well, if enemies follow us to our ship, we now have these steel mini turrets here right in front of our vac barrier so that we have just some defense that we have to fall back on just in case. And we will make our way in. Is there anyone here? Another one of these hallways. It's a totally different way to play. Alright, making our way up, we have run into some Scythers here, but fortunately we can stack up against them in the hallway, but it just leaves one man isolated against them. Voss, you've already lost one leg. What more could you lose against this Scyther? Alright, we've just got to heal up. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check out these sealed crates. We've got a few of these, so hopefully some more new materials, maybe some Gravlight panels here. Oh, and we've got a little turret. That's not too bad, though. We'll just take that out really fast. Just stay away from it. It's dangerous. Alright, we're fine. Lots of scars developing, though, now. Gunshot scar, bite scar, all kinds of these. Alright, lots and lots of Gravlight panels. That's exactly what we need to keep building up our ship. Alright, it's taken a little while to get through much of this base, but we are healing up, and in the meantime, we have located the Grav engine right here. So this contains the Grav core, but it is guarded by a centipede here. Well, there's also a Militor. Oh, they're sleeping together. That's so cute. You can see the Militor nestled up against the big body of the centipede gunner. They're spooning. That's really adorable. Wow. It's too bad we're going to have to fight them. Alright, we have entered the room, and I'm going to have Shiki use now. We have been waiting so long for this Psychic Shock Lance. Now, hopefully using this Psychic Shock Lance will stun this centipede minigunner. We'll see how it goes, as it is a machine, but let's just do a little bit of firing right here. Hope for that Psychic Shock Lance, and yes, it worked. We have stunned it. Amazing. Alright, now we have just a couple seconds to take this thing down. First off, we'll take out the turret. That is really good use of those resources. I didn't know if that would work, man. Amazing. Okay, the turret is blowing up, and it's down. Alright, now we can just gang up on this centipede, and I'm pretty sure that we can just take this thing out from a safe distance. Well, it doesn't really make a difference, but it is unconscious, and it has been put into psychic shock on its artificial brain. It's amazing how much armor these things have, but we've finally taken it down. Let's destroy this Grav core. Anyone who's not hurt can just melee attack that, please. Thank you. Alright, Athafai, just finish eating that meal in the vacuum of space. Alright, that's fine. And it is down. We have 25 Gravlight panels as well. Amazing. Alright, while we've been recovering here, we've actually been attacked by separate raiders who have woken up the mechs nearby. I mean, we already have everything we pretty much need from this place. It's just kind of odd to watch these raiders fighting these mechs for the limited resources. We've pretty much just been repairing the turrets and waiting for them to kind of perish from like attrition here. I mean, this guy just fought our turret and he's now sitting out there bleeding in the vacuum of space. This is why I built these miniguns, so that if anything happens to us, which a couple of us are down right now, hopefully we can come back. See, right now everyone's just resting in bed, but it's quite safe out here. And in the meantime, the mechs continue to deal with the rest of them up there. Now, I hate to do this one, but I've actually stripped some enemies that are down to take their vac suits and prevent them from getting tainted. But now you see what happens when someone's exposed to vacuum burn for an extended period. Now, it's not instantaneous like you would think. 3 hours, but vacuum exposure, I guess we're not so far up in the atmosphere. Maybe we've still got a little bit of atmosphere left here, but it's probably going to be the hypothermia that takes them out fast. Just all kinds of negative conditions here, but a brutal thing to do to a raider if they're down. See, the other ones that went down with armor still on, now it's tainted, so it's not really as useful, but there you have it. War. Armed combat in a vacuum. You'd think for all the profound technologies it took us just to get here, we'd have solved the base human impulses toward crime and injustice. But maybe some things never change, and just seem even more nightmarish considering the technologies we're capable of using and misusing when directed upon our transgressors. After all that craziness, I sent back in Kepler, and inside of one of these hermetic crates was an orbital power beam targeter, so this is a useful thing to have. We can just haul this back. All of this valuable technology, even if we don't use it, we could still sell it. And in the meantime, I've also just extended all these back panels now that we have all the gravlight panels we need for our food bay or our planting bay. This is getting larger now. We could probably fit in a second sun lamp, but it's going to require even more power to keep all that running. And for our next launch, I think we'll be touching back down on Earth, really just to recuperate here. It looks like this forest is a pretty safe place. We can afford to stay in the vacuum of space for only so long. It is rather resource demanding. And back we go, touching down to Earth. Now, I've kept our orbital scanner here on the side of our ship. I didn't realize that you could leave this on your ship, but just unroofed. So this is useful for checking targets in the sky, but I think we're going to be launching off. Now, it takes only 2.2 days to recover after a landing, so we can really move quickly. All right, I think we could just get away from these raiders as well. Yeah, so before they even come near us, we can just get out in time. And that is a lot of impids, too. This is a nice raid to avoid. They are primitive peoples. We have discovered up in the sky, getting closer even to the next grav door, is this new ancient space dock. So maybe this will contain something interesting. And we have this big new area for planting in the back. We're getting out of here just in time now with all these good defenses on our ship too. And up we go. Now we've had an overheated grav engine here. Let's see how long it's going to take us to get out of here. 5.1 days. So we've got a little time up here on this platform, but it looks like there was maybe like a space station colony up here. We've got some hydroponics basins over here, as well as what looks to be like a classroom for school children and a toy box. So it's like, it's kind of sad. It's a little bit of a forlorn place to visit. Well, it looks like maybe there's something useful in here, so let's hack through the security systems. Maybe we can check through some of these walls. And we are being raided again. Who knows how these nefarious people came to know of our location, and yet they must be stopped. We have Larry attacking us with a pump shotgun in outer space. Of all the weapons, the scuffed weapons to use in outer space, a pump shotgun? All right. You are nothing, Larry. Someone literally named Luxembourg. You are nothing, Luxembourg. Go back to your country. What have we got? I hear some sort of hissing. Something exploded. But we'll just let him fight in the void for now. He's tearing himself up anyway. Well, let me tell you, getting into this place is no easy task. We've been using frag grenades to get around, and it looks like that this hunter bot means business. He is going to probably blow up, maybe when I turn this corner, and nope. I will need some assistance here, and this is no good. Anyway, while that's all being cleared out, this place is a mess, man. There are turrets everywhere, drones that we've had to take out, and yeah, I'm being once again pursued by a hunter drone, but, well, as they say, that's what friends are for. Oh no, I've been shot accidentally. This is terrible. All right, we are saved. Phew. And this is really cool. I've actually reprogrammed one of these turrets so that it's fighting one of the wasps nearby. You can see them destroying each other. It's stunning the turret, but, well, maybe if it misses the turret in a second, the turret will be able to fire. Either way, I have foisted the abilities of the robot defenders against each other. There we go. I just got through the wasp. The wasp is now injured, so this is a much faster way to take out the enemies here because we are just getting torn up trying to get through this facility, and if I can get through it out of these panels, better than having to fight everything, right? Still, though, nothing really that remarkable in here, unfortunately. This is amazing. We have located a flat screen television and a leather couch. Imagine actual American comforts from the safety of our spaceship. This will be repurposed for our needs next, but all the blood spilled for it. It was pretty rough going of it in here, man. And I've skipped ahead a minute. We had to make our way back down to Earth. It was just too much panicking at that platform. And all of a sudden, as soon as we landed back down on the planets, of all things, rabid polar bears wanted to attack our ship. So this is the value of having the turrets nearby. See, they just blow up, taking out the polar bears with them. So this polar bear doesn't even have long for this world. All it took was one turret. The others will blow up in its face. So good riddance. I prefer the world without their kind anyway. We have made it down here to this item stash. It is, well, it's right here. What incredible prizes lay in wait in this tiny slate box. It is, 25 Glitter World medicine. That is actually quite useful. Maybe not worth a fight. I mean, how in the world is a fight with 3 rabid polar polar bears related to the acquisition of advanced medicine. I honestly can't tell you, but that's Rimworld for you. And our ship is beginning to look, well, pretty developed. There's still a little bit more to do here, though. So we have traveled once again on our way down south to the next abandoned orbital platform with another grav core. But while we're here, we are just hanging out in the desert. I just moved on. I figure we've been doing so many jumps now. Why not just keep it going? Anyway, we've got another infirmary right down here, and I'm trying to move everything off from this room over here, just because I think it would look a little bit nicer, and maybe keep the room a little bit cleaner too. So building that next. And only 2 more days till we can launch again. Okay, so we have spotted an asteroid with gold ore above our planet. So I think that this is worth a detour, just from all that, like, beaming up into the atmosphere from our orbital scanner. We have located this, so we're going to make our way up there next. Alright, we have arrived at the gold asteroid, and you can see a couple of veins in there. It's really nice to just be able to get our way through this and just make out with a little bit of spoils for gold, which is a pretty rare resource anyway. I think there's a little bit more in here somewhere. Yeah, a little bit right there, and we might do some strip mining to see if we can find any more of it around here. In the meantime, I've done a bit more of a ship reformatting once again. I've moved all of our beds over to one wing, as well as the workshops over to another side, and just trying to get everything a little bit better laying out now that we've got all of this crop production, and man, we can really look after ourselves with food and energy now. It feels good. And we've got just about all the gold we need, 639, that's a nice amount. And we are now lifting off toward a lava field and beyond. Another one of these lava regions. We've got some lava snails, a new animal here, but other than that, there's really not all that much. It's going to be another 3.5 days till we can launch again. We are being raided by some Neanderthal peoples, and that's no joke. They mean business. These guys are tough, and they're man, they really take out a lot of ship already. You know, we forgot to take off our vac suits here. I almost just want to hide behind our turrets, because I don't mind if they take out a bit of the ship. It's my colonists I'm more worried about, man. Fortunately, these are just tribal Neanderthals, and though they are tough, we just won't let them get anywhere near us. And they are fleeing. We have finished them. Alright, we have moved beyond the desert of lava, which I guess you could still see it on the map right there, up here to a Vaxstone asteroid. And do we have any of it around? Yeah, there are some chunks on the ground. So these are Vaxstone chunks. And these can be cut like normal stone blocks back inside of our base, where Rinnick has just created some Vaxstone blocks. So here we go. They are useful for building, but we are going to be using them not to create stone constructions. No, au contraire, we're going to be creating gravlight panels with these, because now that we still have a little over like 300 spaces that we could still build with on our ship, I figure why not create our own rather than having to explore so many ruins if we can craft them ourselves. So this requires Vaxstone blocks and plasteel, but it's so easy to get Vaxstone blocks up here, so why not? We're going to do a little bit of mining. We've also got some compacted machinery in here, so it's even more useful for components, but just spending some time up here, and it seems as though our plants are sustaining us pretty well now. There's a mysterious beauty about it, that Iron Age activity of humans, mining for precious minerals, a Neolithic revolution that never ended and joined us to the stars. Ad astra per aspera. Some mechanoids have landed on our asteroid whilst we were mining here, and Penny is a pacifist, but let's actually just line up more like this. That way we can fight them off, because these are all scythers, and they mean business, as you may know, but hopefully we can take them out one by one. And alright, many of them are engaging the turrets, and most of them just take those out before they fight us. This is pretty good. We've got a lot of them. Oh wow, we've really got a lot of them down here, man. Amazing. Victory for the humans. Alright, well, a couple more days have passed, and we've finished up our mining here on the platform. We got a little bit of a Militor raid before, which was from all the blood. But now we are going to be building large thrusters. So these cost 220 steel, 50 Vaxstone blocks, and 6 components, which we have more than enough of that now. How many Vaxstone blocks? 1,220, so tons of Vaxstone now. More than enough that we need to build these large thrusters. And these will actually increase our ship's landing radius, so we don't have to keep stopping and starting every time we travel, and we can move faster. Now that we're ready to launch, look at the huge radius our ship has over so much more planet, now with just 2 more large thrusters, and we'll be able to go even further later on. So that makes it easier for us to get to this next gravlight panel. I think we will be going back down to the planet, though. Maybe we'll explore these new glacial plains as well. And off we go. Our large thrusters giving us so much more power to travel further distances.
And we have made it to the glacial plain here. I've just been sitting down here for a couple of days. We've actually been attacked by great wolves, which is horrifying, except mostly we've taken them out with the turrets here. Let's just move back a little bit from these guys. They are huge and menacing. All right, good. Everyone survived. Get back. Nothing really bad. Lost Shiki, just a couple of bite marks, and Rinnik just bit, but with his right middle finger still. We've lost so many fingers in this colony. Anyway, this place is cool. We've got solid ice walls. Pun intended, man. We've got, well, just a lot of ice. That's about it. I guess we won't stay here long enough to really see the end, but man, the flora and fauna here are interesting. What can survive these cold wastes? What is it right now? It's actually above freezing. I guess it's just been so cold for so long that this ice has remained solid here. Now, alongside that, we're just finishing up these large thrusters out here. So we've got 5 built right now, 2 on each wing, and if I guess I can't really highlight them all, but that's the 6th one, and that will let us go very, very far for our next launch. Speaking of which, look at the size of our landing radius now, so far away from our ship. Actually, that's only what we have fuel for, so once we gather up the fuel, which I'm going to over the next couple of days, we'll be able to get across practically half the planet. All right, I got a little bit ahead of myself, actually. I had to make my way over to this boreal forest. What is this? A boreal forest we're in right now, one of my favorite biomes. Just due to the sheer number of trees, we weren't doing so well in that last place. I didn't realize quite how much fuel these new thrusters use up, so we actually have to just deforest an entire zone, which all they're doing right now is bringing in wood, because we unfortunately ran very low on chem fuel. So we're going to be here for a couple of days. This isn't great, but yeah, we got a little carried away with the sheer amount of power we were using. Now, we've got, how many is this now? I think 4 grav core cells built. You can see 1 there, all at the edge of our grav engine, the grav field extenders. So we can build these about this far out. So there is sort of a limit. I guess you couldn't make a really long ship. I guess you could do a mod or something, but well, whatever. Who knows how it will be. But anyway, my next projects will probably be here under the power menu. I want to build these grav core power cells because currently it's just so much refueling by hand of these chem fuel powered generators, and just the sheer amount of hand labor required for crops and everything else needed here. I mean, I guess I could have gone solar with batteries, but it just feels kind of unreliable, so I went with this, and I somewhat regret it, but hey, at the same time, free power from GravCore power cells, so I think we'll make that the next project. Alright, we've just about cleared out this entire forest area. This campaign has stretched over so many climates, I hardly even noticed right here. We've got ice thawing out on the marsh. You can see the, it's just marsh right here. But if I speed up time a little bit, you can start to see the ice starting to thaw out. So we can't actually pass over this anymore, but I guess we could fish in it. Just the whole landscape is changing here, man. It is beautiful to watch. Yeah, see, there it goes bit by bit. If we hang out here long enough, that's just gonna all be marsh again. Just incredible to watch the seasons change in this game now. It's beautiful. And the time has arrived to launch to our next GravCore destination. This time we're traveling much of the way across the planet and all the way north here to this desert region. We're being attacked by cougars almost immediately. They stand no match. Actually, no one was even hurt. We have all these flak jackets and flak helmets now, except Penny, who's a pacifist. But there is a large facility right here to explore and locate a GravCore inside of. We've just hacked open the first blast door and we're exploring. It's about the same as all of the other mechanoid facilities we've explored so far, just a few guarding it inside here. Okay, and we've explored a little bit, and we've located the GravCore. There is a lot defending in here. This is pretty much the same as all of the other places we've been so far, though. Let's just get a little ways inside this room. We can't be right by the turret. Even out here, it's probably safer. Alright, this is not so bad if we keep stacking up against them. And I think we've pretty much done it. We're just going to shoot down this GravCore, and there we go, one more. And we've just brought back the GravCore, but we're also being attacked once again by Neanderthals. These people keep coming back, although they are pretty much no match for us. We have far superior technology to them, but they are tough cookies once again, and it looks like they're just going to throw themselves at our turrets. That's fine, whatever. See how these turrets are a nice buffer between them and us? Okay, they've taken that one down without explosions, and we have routed them. This is the idea here. We have prevented them from ever even getting to us. It just costs steel and components, of which we have tons. Now, on top of all of that, I've started adding in GravCore power cells on the inside of our ship. These each generate 1,200 watts. Each one of our chem fuel-powered generators had generated only 1,000. So they're pretty similar, but the obvious advantage of the GravCore power cells being they don't require any maintenance, so we don't need to make any crops or fuel them by hand. So these are far superior, not only just through wattage, well, maybe not far superior, but overall these GravCore power cells are passive ways to generate even just a little bit more power than before. So we become a lot more self-sufficient with these things. I think we get maybe another 1 or 2, and then we'll have our power needs taken care of. All right, and while we were waiting for our ship to cool down, I also just located this Archotech arm in the ruins here. So this is what they're carrying back right now. Possibly useful though, because haven't we lost something? No, nothing on Kepler yet, but I mean, a lot of people are missing fingers. Their manipulation is down. Yeah, Jot, look there. His manipulation is at only 92% from having his right ring finger cut off. There's a lot of these now. Scars, missing fingers, a missing kidney, well, bionic leg there, but yeah, we're pretty bruised up, man. We could use it. All right, we're just going to take a quick trip to a plasteel meteor and then back down again. These are pretty quick excursions at this point. With another jump, the cycles accelerate each time. The sensation that time is going by faster as these events become more familiar, more common. The final battle awaits, holding more than its value in chronological time. All right, while we're waiting, we did have a little bit left over, and we are just about to finish our first marine armor here. So we are going to have the best regular armor in, well, this is vanilla Rimworld, so this is the end game that we're playing with right now. This is kind of cool. We actually get some vacuum resistance from the marine armor, so we are able to at least last for a little while, I suppose, then, in the vacuum with only marine armor on, which is kind of cool that that translates. So we have just a little bit better plating while we are in the vast reaches of space. We have made our way out to another mechanoid relay out in the desert, where hopefully we will locate another GravCore. We just have a few of them to take out here. Surprisingly, this place wasn't really as well guarded. Maybe it's just going into the atmosphere that's so much harder, but these require a little bit of hacking. We've got Kepler with the marine armor on now. And this is too bad. While we were fighting some cowboys, Kepler has actually sustained an injury from these people. They were pretty well armed. They had a sniper rifle, auto pistol, maybe not so much, but it was before we had a marine helmet. Kepler has now got a permanent gunshot injury in the right eye. Now his sight is at only 92%. I guess it only got grazed or something, but he will need a bionic replacement if he really wants his sight back eventually. For now, it just slightly lowers his shooting, but it is a blow to our confidence. Unlucky, but you know, pretty much at this point, everybody in our expedition has sustained some sort of minor permanent injury, whether it's a lost finger, a hurt eye, or something like that. Once again, as in all things in Rimworld, the best way to avoid getting injured is to just avoid combat and, well, make other people do it in general, which is why I have all these turrets and, well, now luckily enough, traders over here. All right, after hacking all of these mechanoid relay stabilizers, we managed to locate at the monolith in the center this GravCore once again, and more Gravlight panels, which, well, we already have an abundance of those. And I think for now, we will just try to put out another GravCore power cell, because we have a little bit of excess right now, a lot at night, but hey, I mean, the less refueling we have to do by hand and planting, the better. And amazing GravCore power cell number 2 is complete, and we are still just making our way south here toward this plasteel asteroid. That's going to remain in orbit for another 22 days, but for now, it's just a pit stop at any interesting POI we can find along the way. In the meantime, I've just continued to move things around as our ship evolves. We have slightly more moved off to the side on our storage here, but, well, I mean, the constantly changing nature of the ship just makes it sort of tricky to plan things out originally, especially with refrigeration. You know, looking back, maybe at the beginning, I would have put everyone in a single barracks and just built out from there, made that the rec room or something like that, but, well, for a first playthrough, as long as we maintained the general shape of a ship, I am somewhat satisfied with this. And this was lucky. Shiki has actually become pregnant. We are now in the first trimester. Voss is the father. And it's a little bit of a nail-biter here, since I'm going to have to keep her out of any type of combat situations, and she was, honestly, a pretty good combatant before. Even her shooting was developing, but we are going to go back up to the vacuum of space, now pregnant with a baby. Hoo-ha.
And after all that traveling, we have finally made our way up to the plasteel asteroid. And I'm going to strip mine this because I want to see if there's any more plasteel around here, and what we can locate around here already is in kind of a tricky area to get to. It's very far off and a little bit inaccessible, so hey, if we find any more in this large asteroid, that would be nice. There's something just so ominous about seeing the ship floating there off in the side, and yet it's like this great ballet of ships. You know, I've said it a lot throughout this playthrough, we are really high up. I have irrational fear of heights, but at a certain point you'd just admit your powerlessness and give into it. We are but grains of dust in a cosmic storm all around us. And this time we've just had another set of raiders come in at us from the south. This time it's humans. And honestly, one hit is pretty much all it takes because of the bleeding out in the vacuum. They have nowhere to go. Although I guess the one exception with these raiders is that they can't really be routed. There's nowhere for them to go on an asteroid. Alright, I've actually decided to take Athified and perform surgery on her because, well, she wasn't doing too well. We are going to be using this Archotech arm, which will significantly buff all of her mining, which she was such a great miner to begin with. But don't forget, she had lost her left index finger, which is obviously cause to replace the entire arm, which is what we're doing right now. But Archotech arms are by far the best arms out there, so now we have 150% efficiency. This is like having an arm and a half, people. Clearly better. Hoo-ha, welcome Athified's new arm. And alright, we've been here for a few days, we've exposed most of the plasteel, and now at 756 plasteel. I really love Odyssey because you can just get so many more of these rare elements that seem like they would be so much easier to get in the future rather than having to wait for a trader, so it's nice to have this expansion where we can just do anything we set our mind to in outer space. Look, 153 components. And honestly, just the beauty of the darkness, just surrender to the vacuum and death. It is jarring, but at the same time, you gotta admit, it is really beautiful at the bottom of it all. Even something like watching the sunrise come up on the planet around us as we watch it on the surface itself, the clouds coming in and out with the breaking of the day. It is honestly breathtaking. Alright, we have landed back down at the bottom of the ice sheet here. We are at the south pole of our planet, just to see if we can survive in these remote temperatures. I mean, this is practically like being in the vacuum of space. -34. And surprisingly, our ship is doing just fine in this temperature. I think this is a sign that we're ready to extend our periods in space for a longer time. Not really a lot to do here, we're just sort of moving through, but a test of our strength for now. And while mining here, we just had very little to do. Athified has actually reached level 20 in mining, so we are finally just hitting the last of our basic skills right here as we go along. Also too, I never mentioned this, but I replaced the floors in our infirmary and now our kitchen with sterile tile. Now these are going to give just a slight buff to the room and make it, from being quite as dirty, there's still just crap on the floor, so ignore that. But hey, it is a little bit cleaner now. And we are just making our way up out of the south to the equator for the next grav core. But in the meantime, I have stumbled upon this blizzard going on in a boreal forest. This might honestly be one of the most beautiful weather patterns I've ever seen in the game. Now, these can freeze and unfreeze, but right now it's just a total takeover of the cold. It's incredible to watch all these new seasons playing out in the game. It really looks good. And at the same time, it's good to see that our ship can survive in such harsh conditions. Alright, well, the storm calmed down, but we are still being attacked by wargs from nearby. Penny, you'd better get back inside. Now, this isn't so bad, but it just seemed like a good place to watch the braving of the elements here. I mean, don't wargs count after all? Let's get away from these wargs. Just so many of them to behold, and they are fearsome and dangerous. Here, Penny, get out of there. It looks relatively safe now. But anyway, we were coming along in the pregnancy of Shiki. She is now, what, in her second trimester, so that is happening. Otherwise, not much to say. We had a little bit of a trade here. We had a meat trader come through, so that was great. There's just meat all over the floor, and also a combat supplier, which, well, we're pretty much there with all of our equipment, but yeah, but other than that, I really have very little explanation. There's just a bunch of pemmican and mole meat on the ground, so delish. Alright, we have made our way about halfway across the world again here, and we are at the next grav core site. Is this it? We are traversing some pretty major distances in short time here. We've also got a little baby room ready for Shiki's unborn child. Good quality on the crib. Everything has been steel here.
It just happens to be this time the resource of which we have in the most copious supply.
Alright, this may look like snow, but we've actually got toxic fallout in the sky here. Right after that blizzard, we are in a totally different climate right now, but we are hacking our way into this next facility. It's buried deep here in a cliffside, and let's see what we get. Jot, make your way in there. All right, this is similar to a lot of the sites that we've been to already. Maybe stop eating that meal in the doorway. Not the safest place to be, but we can lead these things outside. Now, I've just led out one of those bots. This is the reason we have so many turrets on the outside. We don't even have to fight this battle. This thing is going to down itself. Look, it's down. Oh, it's like playing a tower defense. It's not even Rimworld anymore. This is great. I love going around with this ship. We just land anywhere, and then our turrets just take everyone out. All right, a little bit more covert ops here. We've had to make our way through the facility, but I can hack into some of these areas, and these terminals have proven to be very useful. Blast door opened. Okay, a couple of these turrets even disabled, so this is helping us make our way through, and we just wait for them to be led through to us, so we suffer minimally at their hands. Here, Rinnick, get over here. It's a little bit safer. And that is just about the last of those bots. I'm just gonna keep making my way through this facility. Well, I don't know what says it's time to give birth, like living in a toxic fallout dump, but Shiki has entered into labor here, and she is, well, actually, we might want to change this, but no, she's got a little bit of time, and we've got good doctors around, so hopefully we'll get a good outcome. And okay, the babe is born. Baby, newborn. We had a girl baby 1 hour ago. There's not really anything to say about the baby. It is merely an infant, a remarkably healthy babe. Hoo-ha, indeed. Shiki's age, Kepler's medicine skill, loved one present, and indoors, as well as the bed effects. That all gave it an 88% baby. I give this baby 88%. Alright, I don't know if we'll actually get to see this child grow up, but I've named her Celeste. Celeste just seemed right for a playthrough about traveling amongst the stars after Kepler, you know. Anyway, we have explored much of this. It's mostly just drones over here. The uplink for a satellite hacked into that, as well as this grav reactor, so now we've got another power core. Most of these encounters are now more or less the same anyway. Now with this grav core, we're already doing pretty well on power, so I decided to get a signal jammer. This is required if we want to approach and make our way down to this mech hive, which is our final ultimate battle here at the South Pole. It's extremely ominous. It's this well-guarded mech station that we need the signal jammer to even approach in the first place, and it's floating over the Antarctic Circle. I don't think it gets much scarier than that. All right, another launch here, and we've made our way to one of those curious celestial objects, this ancient station. Not really much to explore here. I'm beginning to question whether these places are worth it simply for the amount of blood we need to spill. I mean, look, we just set off a fire foam popper, and that was, well, it was just kind of a mess. Now, we do have a quest for a fuel optimizer, though, and this is going to make all of our journeys cost less chem fuel, so it's been very intensive expenses on chem fuel up till this point. It still would be really nice to get one of these things. We still spend so many resources simply on producing chem fuel and refueling all of our generators and getting everything ready with power. So, hey, if we can get this thing, that would be great. And with that, just another 12 hours until we can move out again. And this time we'll be making our way to this little antenna, the survey site, for 15 days. All right, we've made our way down to the survey site where we have to defend this surveying scanner. We are being raided once again, though, by, of all people, the fur persons have come back to once again terrorize us. They're at it again, yes, that's right, but, I mean, we have enough turrets and everything to block them off. They are, well, nefarious people, but, well, with that, we've gotten one of their groups routed here. And honestly, I mean, our ship can take the hammering. They are basically no match for us at this point. We are far too advanced in our technology. The last threat is really just the mech hive. It's just a matter of waiting around here for a while. All right, time update. It's been about 8 more days, and now we're just getting this beautiful thaw taking place. It is warming up here. It was very cold when we started. We are at around the South Pole, so we're getting some temperature fluctuations now in September, but we are on also the South Pole, so keep that in mind as we get to those traditional northern hemisphere winter months. It's actually the summer down in this location, so as we go, the river just thaws out. And aside from that, I've pretty much completely reformatted our ship. I've just sort of made it into this kind of arrow shape, pointing left, and well, it does look somewhat aerodynamic. I've also added on a few more turrets onto the front, just in case if anyone approaches from that side, and I've expanded our storage options over here, because, well, there's really so much stuff to carry around. It's dense, and yet at the same time, I still want want to keep some areas for recreation that seems to have some semblance of order, and as well as that, all of the fuel. There's so many things to process in such a small space. You know, we spent most of our time reflecting in space, but the new ice melting system just adds one of those new elements that make this whole simulation, even without colony building, something that's just a marvel to behold. Amazing to think that in this one location, it now looks like a completely different biome here. Actually, the water is starting to thaw out. I think we just had ice to thin ice here, but you can actually see the movement as it all springs forth out of these glaciers that were just here a moment ago. Mad Boomel, well, that'll handle itself. We've got turrets for that now. In the meantime, we've got a nutrient paste dispenser, and that is pretty much, well, another option for feeding ourselves. So it's nice to have that around. And okay, 15 days here. It's just about over. We are waiting, and amazing. There's our reward being delivered. We've actually got a social fight going on over there. Amazing. Now we could get a second one of these, but this is going to really improve our fuel game. A Gravtech unit that allows Grav engine lift to coordinate more efficiently with traditional thrusters. It reduces the fuel needed for, well, that amounts to 30% fuel saving, so that's pretty good. Amazing. This is really going to help out our overall power generation game, and that makes our ship really efficient and really large. We have achieved the unthinkable, full marine armor for all of our warriors, and we are just hacking into another mech site right here. It's clear. Go, go, go. Go, 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 everyone. Okay, and we've cleared out the mechs from this area. Just one more Militor left, and then I believe a turret after that. Cool, that's the last of them. It's like trench warfare in here, man. One more turret we gotta take down, and it's blown. Alright, the very last of the grav cores we were seeking. I think I'd like this for one more power cell, so we're just going to bring this back into our ship. That was a quick and easy one, and go from there. With all that, it's time to install our third and final power cell. That is a total of 3,600 watts we are producing here, and we go a little negative for a little while, but, well, that shouldn't last too long. I've got to selectively power down some of these ship systems we don't need, and in just 7 hours we launch off for our next destination before fighting the mech hive. I think this time we launch, we're going to make our way over to an iceberg just south of the mech hive. We've got one right here, so maybe this. And if you thought it was cold already, you've got another thing coming. This time we're landing literally on shallow water here, just outside of an iceberg of all places. Now we've landed successfully. It's only 1.6 days before we can launch again, and our ship looks just about ready for anything. This landmass is totally barren. It's just ice, solid ice all the way around and water. You can hardly make out any living in this area. Nothing for miles. It's just a stasis zone while we wait. As for our crew, we've had a pretty successful run of it. Kepler's stats are looking fantastic. Jot has leveled up in, well, a lot of work, but you can see that the shooting all around has improved. Cheeky, Voss as well, who's hurt right now. What does he have? Some bruising of human fists. Alright, well, whatever, moving on. Athified reached maximum mining, really good shooting. Rinnick too, just lots of great shooting skill. And Penny, whose skills don't really matter for the fight, but still, who's leveled up quite a lot. You have the baby with us still too, and kind of maybe the more notable change is just a bunch of minor injuries. Everybody's lost maybe a finger or got a scar or something like that. So there's a lot of that going on in our colony. I guess if we went a little bit slower, we could have maybe got some more bionic limbs, but I felt like they weren't really changing the playthrough so much, and anyway, it makes our crew like a little bit more hardened and grisly for the final fight. You know, our ship overall evolved into more or less what I had envisioned it. It kind of went along gradually, and I guess this was my first time trying this, so it was kind of an experiment overall. We used up nearly all of the tiles. I thought we would have this big back bay, but maybe I would have come off of this power dependence a little bit earlier, because I thought we used up so many plants. Batteries, I more or less like the layout now. The engines, I think that this makes sense too, just a lot of bulk back here, but it took a lot of room for that, man. The kitchen was okay. Maybe it would have been nicer off to the side so that I could have flipped the AC out, but hey, I got a couple of auxiliary rooms in there. Research and workshops got their own zone, as well as bedrooms. And storage now actually has a respectable position there, with all of the recreation taking place here, and just a little bit more overflow production into this room. You know, overall it did the two main things I wanted for it. It still looks like a spaceship, and it's somewhat clean the way it's laying out. I mean, it went through many phases, but well, I didn't expect myself to be mounting so much to the outside of the ship, like the turrets, as well as this orbital link scanner. But yeah, it was, let's just say that it was perfect. Sometimes it's not the very evil we're coming face to face with, but all the buildup that puts it into context, the lair of the villain. What inhuman force could inhabit such a place, inhospitable to all life? Perfect in every way, our first foray. Well, now, after all that careful planning, 5 years to be exact, over the polar ice cap, we are going over the Earth in a very ominous place to the mech hive where they reside up here. 5 years and counting, we make our voyage from the ice floes at the southern coasts all the way up into the atmosphere once more. In the vast expanses of the universe, we are very, very small. Alright, we've landed on the platform with the mech hive. Cerebrex core, stabilizers remaining 3 out of 3. Right now it's just an ominous floating mechanical brain. It's surrounded by turrets and these mechanoid birthers, as well as more mech hive processors. This is a very scary place, and it's surrounded by walls too, defensive walls on all sides. Now, right now we need to locate some processors, I'm told, so we have oh, these are interesting. We haven't seen structures like this yet. I guess we're just hacking our way into these doors to see if we can locate any other supplies. We just gotta be ready for anyone to attack us. And alright, these are actually empty. And another empty one. We've got hermetic crates around here and sentience catalysts. Nothing really useful, just kind of more ancient mech technology. I guess some of these buildings are useless. So probably just more treasure in the small ones, and then the larger ones. Yeah, we've got a major complex over here, as well as another one up here. These probably contain the processors. Alright, we've just been checking out all of these areas over here. We managed to attract over one scyther. I guess we can just go at ease right now. But yeah, there are these smaller hallways leading up to this encounter area. So it really limits the number of colonists you can send in here. You could have like one person there, but they're all going to be focusing fire on you. It's a really difficult place to get at because you can't destroy these walls either. These are all fortified walls, as much as they have been throughout the campaign. And honestly, nothing really useful behind any of these doors, although, you know, we're doing okay here in outer space, but occasionally they do seem to be kind of birthing more or getting riled up and coming to attack us, so it's not like we're not under any pressure. Okay, we just got into one facility, and this is actually kind of bad. Kepler will be okay, but he's lost a pinky. He got it shot off by a pikeman of all things, not even a scyther, you'd think, but he can actually recover this on the spot, and now he's just at full health, not even bleeding anymore. He's just missing the pinky, but now he's got a permanent eye injury and he's missing his pinkies. Made some sacrifices now, our central protagonist. Mostly though, it's just similar androids here. We can take them on 1 by 1 or, you know, 2 by 2, nothing crazy. See, again here with the turrets, nothing really too scary for now. Okay, actually, as it happens in our searches, we found, that's right, another Archotech arm. So Kepler found it, and I guess we'll use this to replace his left arm because he's missing one pinky there right now. And we can't have our protagonist go into the final fight missing a pinky. No. Right, just when I thought it was safe, we're actually being attacked by mechs out here. They've sent out a group, so just as I thought, you know, if you don't attack, they actually attack you. So now they're going after our automated turret system, and this should be okay, but blowing up, that's no good. We're gonna have to replace more of this. Now we do have most of the materials we need just around here, but alright, I guess we gotta go to arms. And we took down the first processor right here. It's just similar to the last one, it's just another little room in here, but it took a long time to get over there. I'm just taking out some of these outposts over here, just guarded lightly by a couple of scythers and anybody else nearby here. Just one over there, and we don't have to fight the main core yet because they keep gathering up more mechanoids in there moment by moment. It's not safe to go in. Out here though, the defenses are pretty light. There's not too many, and we can just take these out as isolated incidents. There we go, another one down. And with all that, we have made it up to processor room number 2. We've just got a couple scythers in here, or one left, and then some turrets. There goes one, there goes the scyther. And here we'll just take cover before we fight this centipede. This is going to be one of the strongest enemies, and just barrage it while it's down before it even gets anything off on us, blasting it. It's down to less than half health already. We just need one more good, okay, maybe 2 more good barrages. I hope that's it. And this is a burner centipede, and it's down. All right, that took a lot. Just lots of burning. Everything has just been fire weapons, and that Scorcher is down. Oh man, that is a lot. All right, that is the processor room though. It doesn't look like anyone was really badly hurt. Shiki, just a lot of burn issues. Fortunately, this marine armor has kept us safe. This is the second processor, and with just one more to go here. And they don't actually contain anything, just slag, but we got a defense response from that. Unfortunately, this means more of drop potted in, and these are going to hit the rest of our ship, so we have to go back and defend it for a minute, but not too bad. All right, just a little more hunting around. We've got pretty much everybody bleeding here. Let's just fire at the Cerebrex stabilizer. This is the final processor here, and then we can return to our ship for what will ultimately be the final battle. One more defense response, but hopefully nothing our turrets can't handle. Now it comes to the core itself. We've got down all of the stabilizers, and it's open for inspection. All right, a little more time has passed. We've tried to turtle in our ship, but they keep sending out raids, Militors this time, just in such a high numery of them. There are, like, way too many of these things. 3v3 right there. That should be an easy fight, and... Right, we have to help Shiki. She's down. It's way too much for one person. Just a lot right here we're going through, but these Militors aren't so bad. They're pretty weak. All right, just barely getting to the end of these. I've got multiple colonists crawling one down on the ground. This isn't good because we have to get them in out of the vacuum. We've got a little bit more out here. Okay, we've got some triage to do right now, seriously. I've got 3 colonists down. We're kind of taking shifts here, though. It's nice to have one medic around, and she has, by far, of all of us, one of the best medical skills. Okay, after all that preparation, it's time to engage the Cerebrex core. So I've assaulted it from 2 sides right here. We've got one set of colonists waiting just outside here. Let's just keep that door open, and then we are going to take down this turret. We just want to take these down one at a time. These turrets themselves are really strong, but they're also very weak. They're glass cannons, if you will. All right, we have got a Scyther in here. Let's just get out of here and bring in reinforcements. We gotta run. And okay, we've come in here with surgical precision. We had to lure them out to our base. Voss is just crawling away, but I've got Shiki and Kepler now at the last turret. It's literally the only one we've got still defending the Cerebrex core. Only 114 HP left. It's all that it takes. I don't know how many fingers, how many toes we're missing from this fight. It's gotta be bad, but Kepler, you've got the intellectual skill. Get in there and inspect the core. The time has come to bring the AI menace to an end. And we've done it. Before Kepler stands the Cerebrex core, a massive brain-like neural mesh that commands mechanoids across the planet. With its stabilizers destroyed, Kepler can now access it directly. But what should he do with that power? Oh, the temptation to become the AI hive mind. It is tempting. I have to do the boring thing and destroy the core. I did actually scavenge the technology in my last playthrough, and I mean, you can command a couple of mechs. It's pretty sweet, but this is endgame content, people. I did it for good, because I'm a good guy. Kepler begins to tear apart the hair-thin cerebral mesh inside the Cerebrex core. The mesh twists and groans as if alive. Electricity arcs among the lattice work frame, and then in an instant, all goes dark and lifeless. The mechanoid whirring stops. Here, and all across the planet, mechanoids begin to permanently deactivate, no longer under the control of the mech hive. The mechanoid threat is over, but your story continues. I'd like to thank Tynan. And with that comes a hush. Everyone is really down bad. And I still have yet to do a head count. I think everyone is still alive, but some of us are doing not so well. Voss is down and crawling. We've just got to get him up. Shiki had her right thumb shut off. Oh, the horror. We're even getting some vacuum exposure since it started to get through the marine armor, since they've been out in it so long, but they will make it back okay. The baby has been just living through this the entire time. We are bruised, but not broken. We made it out. And speaking of which, it was pretty important that we destroyed the core. There were still mechanoids attacking our ship. Actually, these ones inside were still alive. Those were the ones setting fire to it. If we hadn't destroyed the core, they would have just destroyed the ship itself. Kepler, you did what you had to. No one is questioning it. You are a hero. Hero of the nomads. Well, we're not out of the woods yet. Voss has got an infection on his left kidney, and he already lost the right kidney, so the option to remove it is not available. We are going to be using the Glitter World medicine. We really got use out of just about all of our materials this time. 119%. That is an amazing tend. All right, we've got a lot to catch up, though. 56% up to 34. Okay, in the middle of all that, Voss decided to throw a party, so we aren't, all going to enter a horrible mood spiral and just destroy the ship for fun. Hooray! Let's have a meal in the bloody ship command bay. Classic Rimworld.
Alright, it looks like Voss has got enough tend quality, with the last one at 79% to get his immunity beyond the infection. That was a close one, but it was only thanks to that Glitter World medicine that we found that he's going to manage to pull through. And there we go, he's got the immunity. His left kidney is safe for now, and woo, everybody loves at least one kidney. You know, this is ironic. In the end, we actually were running out of steel. Wouldn't it have been poetic justice to just get trapped here after we destroyed the core? I almost like that ending better. I mean, there it is, the destroyed Cerebrex core, but, well, no. Instead, we're using the bodies of all the destroyed and deactivated mechanoids to get enough steel to pave our way back to Earth. I'm not sure we could have made it back without a couple of these essential parts rebuilt, but things are now finally stabilizing. Everyone is recovered, and I think we will actually be able to get back down to Earth while keeping oxygen, the vacuum out, enough meals, and no one froze to death, so that is a positive. And there is actually a happy ending today. I didn't know if it would be just tragic there at the end. We are pretty much out of turrets. We've just taken off any non-essential systems here. We have maybe 1 or 2 left remaining, and aside from what we've rebuilt, let's launch. 62% quality doesn't matter as long as we can get back down there. There's no more mechanoids to fear anymore. And you know, of all the places to go, it's gonna be the beach. We're going to Point Narwhal Heel to party. The day is won. The mechanoid menace is destroyed. Forever. Woo! And honestly, good riddance. Who liked being in the Arctic Circle anyway? Now we don't have to fight them anymore. Of course, there are many horrible, persistent other threats still in the world, but hey, you know, we deserve a party too. Kepler and the Nomads enjoy a happy life and a beach party. Maybe somebody will order a pizza. And nothing went wrong. Well, I'm just kidding, a lot went wrong. We're missing many of our body parts, which we'll replace with bionic ones, and then maybe we'll ascend to cyborg superhumans, but, well, overall, I thought this was a really sweet playthrough. Rimworld Odyssey, everybody. Honestly, so far, this has been my favorite DLC yet. I'm not just saying that, I think that this one really changes the game in a meaningful way, with all the transportation and all of the new biomes. It just lets you see the whole gamut of Rimworld extremes and weather, temperatures. And yeah, overall, if you've been playing the game for a little while, I definitely think that this is worth it. I mean, Biotech added in a lot of really essential stuff like children, so I'm not gonna say that that one didn't matter, but just in terms of fun factor, I think that this is the most fun I've had with any of the DLCs. Not that I didn't like the other ones, this one was just so good. It's so different, man. Still so many ideas to come. The whole asteroid idea seems very interesting. Let me know if you have any other ideas for future playthroughs. Last but not least, shout out to Ludion. I did receive a key to this for free. I didn't request it. They just came through and sent one to me, but I would have bought it anyway. Anyway, if you've been playing Rimworld for a while, I would definitely recommend going to check this out. It really is a game changer. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas. Anyway, as always, I'm Ambiguous Amphibian. I hope you got something more you enjoyed out of this video, or it led you to discover something new. A big thanks to viewers like you who would never, ever accidentally expose a baby to the vacuum of space. Until next time.